Coach and Nick from Echo Base Network, thank you so much for being here with us tonight at Echo Base TV, where community happens. Echo Base Network, thank you so much for being here with us tonight at Echo Base TV, where community happens. Something must be happening tonight, I guess. So, there's a reason why there are so many people here already at the very, very top of the show. 870 people. What is up, everybody? Thank you so much for being here. It's been a crazy day in Star Wars fandom.
It has. Yeah,
I mean, people, it really has been.
Yeah, people are going nuts and talking about this video by Knee Payne. It's been all over the place. So
it has been all over the place. His video was blowing up, and then they were gone. Well, here tonight to explain and tell us about his career and answer questions and basically to let his voice be heard. He is here tonight joining Echo Base Network to let us know. Now, I'm going to preface this whole thing, and I spoke with him on the phone. Super nice man. Really excited to have him here. I spoke with him on the phone, and I shared this, and I'm going to preface the whole interview that we're about to have with this right here.
Hello, my name's Tim Rose, and I'm with you here at Echo Base today. I've had a great time, and I played Admiral Akbar in Return of the Jedi, The Force Awakens, and finally in The Last Jedi. But the one thing that I seem to be remembered more than anything else is, it's a trap.
So the morning I was able to sit down with Tim Rose and interview him, and it was amazing. And boy, you talking about nervous. I was scared as a cat.
I was supposed to be there with Coach, but every time I joined, his connection would screw up.
Yeah. Well, Mr. Rose told us when we were not recording that there were several answers and things that he would like to tell us. But he said these people will come take my house. And
Yeah.
he meant that literally.
Yeah.
So Knee Payne is here. Keep those things in mind. He's going to tell us what he's comfortable telling us, and we're very, very excited. If everybody in chat would please give him a very warm Echo Base Network welcome. Welcome to the show, Knee Payne. Hello, sir.
Hey, can you hear me okay? I didn't have
Yes, sir.
Okay, great.
Yeah, sounds
We
fine.
can hear you. So,
Nice,
look,
Dex.
brother, one thing that we always do here, this being a Star Wars fan of Star Wars channel of old,
Yeah.
Nick and I laugh about it all the time. This is a Star Wars channel that celebrates the reasons why we love Star Wars, the 1977 for us through 2012.
Yeah.
And we've been pretty hard on Disney Star Wars. Been pretty hard on it, okay?
Very, very hard. But we've given credit where credit's due also.
We have done that.
At the times when they deserve it.
They have given us some good stuff, and we tell them that. But all that being said, we always ask our visitors who have a Star Wars background if they would share their Star Wars story. You did a little bit of that in some of your videos. If you don't mind, tell everybody a little bit about how you started with Star Wars way back going to the movies, Return of the Jedi.
Sure thing. Thanks for having me on, Coach. And thanks for the chat earlier. Definitely, I was really nervous. I don't know a lot of these YouTubers. I feel a lot of people just do things for clicks. They don't care who they hang out to dry. And thanks for just hearing me out.
My pleasure.
I'm trying to be a jerk, but also it's like, why can't I just talk about what I've done, civilly, right? And try to be vague enough, right? But thanks for having me on. This is so short notice. Like I was at work. It's like I get off at 6. You're starting at 6. Let's see what happens. So thankfully I work at home, so I didn't have to drive.
Hey, me too. I'm 100% remote worker, so I love it.
So thanks, Coach. Yeah, so as I said in the video that obviously no one can see now, my earliest memory, the first movie I remember was Return of the Jedi, and my dad would, he'd take me there at least 3 or 4 times, and he always get out of work late, from the military, military. They don't like to let you off early for anything.
My brother's in that.
I grew up in all military. I'm military too, and we always get in a little bit late. It's always like halfway through the Jabba the Hutt scene. Then of course, right for the Rancor fight every single time. So I never saw that. It wasn't until I was older that I actually saw the beginning when Luke walked up, to Jabba's palace. I was probably in my 20s by the time I actually saw that. And I was like, I never saw the scene. Well, I'll be honest, right? I was like kind of a poor trailer trash kid from Michigan. So we didn't. I never had it. I never had a copy of Star Wars on VHS.
What part of Michigan?
As people from Michigan say, I was from here. Let me turn to the camera.
That was me. I lived in Grand Rapids for 5 years.
Okay, I'm originally from Ludington area. I went to school in Grand Rapids.
Yeah.
Yep.
Nice.
Yeah. So fellow Michigander. So I always loved Star Wars. Right, I had a few toys. I wasn't one of the privileged kids to have every toy, but the ones I had, I loved. Right, I cried when remember Obi-Wan, the lightsaber used to come out of the arm. Remember the old Star Wars toys? And I dropped my lightsaber and I bawled. And I just remember just watching. I think what it caught me most was the behind the scenes, because no one had ever done this stuff before.
Yeah.
Right, and same thing with the extended edition of Lord of the Rings. Maybe I don't know if we talk about Lord of the Rings on this channel, but it's the whole. I actually preferred the behind the scenes DVD, because I love the passion. People how do we do this? We don't know. We don't care. We are going to do it. We are going to build it. We are going to program it. We are going to do this, and I love that. I absolutely love that. I just felt the connection to that, but I also never imagined that would be my life. You grew up to some poor kid in Michigan. People tell you have 2 choices in life, which is join the military or work in a factory. Well, I worked in the factory for a couple of years after high school until the military accepted me, because I'm a GED. I still don't have a diploma to this day. And I had to wait for an opening to get in the military. And then I actually had to wait for a branch to accept me, which was the Marine Corps. It wasn't any fellow Marines, but it wasn't my first choice. It's whoever can take me out of this little town, please do. And I went off in the military. Again, never thought I'd ever work in film, ever. I had no idea what my life headed for. I was like, okay, I'm out of my little town. But what actually kind of changed my life a little bit was I was infantry in the Marines, and I blew out my knees, and they said, well, you can't be infantry, right? And I got put in an office job for a little over a year. I was an operations NCO, and this is back in the late 1990s. The military was just starting to understand computers a little bit. And so that was the first time I was ever actually using a computer, because it was like, I don't know what else to do, but I had to take some job. And so I started using computers, and I was like, well, I'm actually somewhat competent at this crap. I can actually make sense of what's going on here. Then, of course, when I got in the military, then, the prequels came out, and like, oh, this is all digital. It's all made on a computer. I'm like, that's kind of interesting. They're really doing more with this 3D thing. Then I went back to, the town I escaped from, because I never had a plan when I got in the military, like a lot of young guys, just go back to your hometown and just kind of rot. And that was kind of what I did. And then I got some pirated 3D software. I was on kind of torrent networks, it's like a lot of kids. So it's like, I'm going to try out this program. I started like finding these 3D programs, like, oh, this is kind of neat stuff, right? This is what they did for movies and video games. And then I became obsessed with it. Like, I get out of work, that's all I want to do was go home and like try to model, try to animate. And then I surprised myself, right? Being a high school dropout, I was like, how did this thing? People are like, oh, I got to write a script. And I was like, I don't know how to write a script. Like, well, learn a program. So I started reading all the documentation, and I literally printed off. It took like 2 binders. I printed off all the documentation for the 3D software and read all the documentation, because I was like, I want to do this for a living. And I thought this is what everyone that went in the industry did. They learned the programs in and out. It turns out that's actually not the case. Usually people they learn 10% of what they ever need in the program. That's all they ever use.
Right.
Me, I learned the entire program, like the technical, like from a book perspective. And started getting like independent game design. I remember like when Half-Life did like the Half-Life source, right? They start opening the source engine, you can start modding, start getting into that. And then I lost my house that I was renting out. I ended up living in a basically a modified bread truck in the back of my dad's property with no heat. And of course, Michigan, that sucks during the winter.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, I need to just double down and get my life together. I knew I had the GI Bill. And I was like, where do I want to go to school at? Well, I'm not university material. I never had diplomas. Who's going to take me, right? So I went to one of those diploma mills, ITT Tech. Remember they had one in Grand Rapids for a long time?
Yeah. Yep.
So I went there. I was like, I just have to do something with my life. Plus, I was getting the GI Bill, so I got money to go to college, right? And I'd lost my job shut down because we're starting to go in the recession. I was like, okay, I'm going to get some money and go to college. Let's do something so I don't starve. After degree in multimedia, and it was very entry level. Sort of a letdown. I'm gonna tell people I want to go to school for 3D animation. I was like, don't waste your time. A lot of those schools, it's very textbook. Most of the professors that teach those colleges never worked anywhere. They got a bachelor's and they went back and they taught, and they never got a job in a studio. They know nothing about the production process at all. But because I had been studying the software in and out and the workflows, like I was blowing through all the classes, just annihilating everything. And then I was actually like, one thing I only struggled with was like the core classes, having to like do math, because I only made it general. I left high school at 15, so I never did much past general math. So I was like, algebra, trigonometry.
Right.
But then I was programming a lot, so the trigonometry started making sense. I was like, oh, all these vectors and transformations, like, wait, this actually applies to what I do. Like, I'm writing all these scripts that do things in 3D and create geometry dynamically. And then through the course of networking, just on 3D forums, I was doing some freelancing and communicating. I got an opportunity to co-author a book about the program that at the time was an industry standard program called Maya, and co-authored a book. And I finished school, and I got a second because I still had another year left of my GI Bill that I could draw, and I hadn't got a job in the industry. So I started interviewing at studios. I got Blue Sky was really interesting. Like, they would call you for like 5 minutes and be like, oh, you sound cool, we'll fly you out. They used to fly people out all the time. They used to blow through so much money in the recruiting process of Blue Sky Studios. They would fly anyone out to Connecticut they thought was cool and then do the interview with them. So they put you up in a hotel and everything. But I did a lot of interviews. It just really wasn't going very well. I almost got in at Sony ImageWorks. That was kind of up and down. It was supposed to be originally crewed for Arthur Christmas. Then I guess that start date got pushed, so they canceled all the contracts they're going to sign. So I was like, what the hell am I going to do? I didn't land a job. So I stayed on for another year in school. And since I already did the all my core classes, I just do like, oh, I got a second degree because I can stay on for a year and just do.
Did you see that? I didn't mean to distract you.
No.
You know, people are crazy and just say crazy stuff, and that was such a good point there. If he was lying, he'd be talking about Disney and Star Wars right now, and he's not.
Oh, thank you, John.
Like people are just crazy. You know, 99% of the people here are great people, though.
Yeah.
No, people are great in chat. So I did one more degree, and I did it in IT. And I found the IT degree is actually more relevant to working in a big studio, because a lot of studios still are built around the Linux operating system, the Linux pipeline. And so it was very technical, like typing. If you use the terminal on like Windows or a Mac, we spend a lot of time in studios. You live in the terminal, like 24/7. You run all your applications. Do so much out of the terminal. And so I got my second degree is an IT degree, which actually helped me more from a technical aspect. And so then I started interviewing, and that actually got me a little more traction in the interview process. And I really wanted to be like a technical animator and character rigger, but it's really hard to get into. People are like, well, you seem to be really technical. So I thought everyone knew how to write scripts and stuff like that. And they're like, well, no, not most of our artists don't know how to do this stuff. We need support people to do it. Do you want to do support? And in my mind, I'm thinking, no, I want to work on shots. I don't want to support anybody. I don't want to do help desk.
Right. Yeah, I've been there. I'm in IT. I'm a systems admin, and so I started. That's where I started off, basically. You know, low level stuff and help desk and that sort of thing. So yeah, I know what you're talking about there for sure.
Yeah, and so I did the and one place I interviewed that was Lucasfilm Animation, and I had kind of some bad experiences interviewing the film. I found there's not a lot of veterans in the film industry, and I actually had one studio, which I won't name. But in the interview process, they actually said to me, we really like you. We think you're a great candidate. However, you're a veteran. We never hired a veteran before. We don't know how we feel or how you'd be around other people. And I was like, well, that's probably not legal to say to somebody.
Yeah, really.
And so I kind of had a bad feeling about it. And so
veterans don't like other people?
No, apparently not. I think they thought I'd come in and just make everyone do push-ups all the time. Like, and so I know I have a bald head, but at the time I had hair down the middle of my back.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, do I look like it? Like, I had a beard and long hair. I didn't shave this off until I got sick of, taking care of the hair.
Right.
But in one place, this was Lucasfilm. And I remember like one of the managers was like, oh, I see you're a veteran. And so about my resume. And I was like, yeah. And I was kind of like dismissive. I was like, I think I'm take that off. And they're like, oh, I'm sorry. Did I offend you? I was like, listen, I just had a kind of bad experience. Some people have said some things made me feel uncomfortable being a veteran. And they were like, oh, no, like I worked with a veteran in my last studio. They were great, right? And it was like, I think that's a great thing. I was like, wow, you're the first person to actually be positive about it. But then I've had a lot of positive interviews that didn't go anywhere. So I literally put it on my mind. By then, school had wrapped up. I mean, my GI Bill dried up. My money was drying up. And I was sitting there with my little Jack Russell Terrier at the time. I had $20 left in my pocket. I wasn't getting a job offer. And I was starting to do the math, like how much generic dog food can I buy to feed my dog?
Right.
And I was like, I'm going to starve. Like, I'm going to buy a case of like ramen noodles and whatever dog food I can. I don't know what the fuck I'm going to do. And then I get a call on a Friday. I get an email, actually. Hey, do you got a moment to talk? And it was one of the recruiters. I was like, yeah, like I got like 5 minutes left in my prepaid. He's like, oh, it won't take 5 minutes. And he's like, how would you like to join Lucasfilm? I said, that would be great. When do you want to start? I said, as soon as possible. It's like a Friday, because it was a Friday I got the call. So it was the second Monday. So I'd be there by the second Monday. Like I had nothing to stay for.
Yeah.
Right. I was dead broke in Michigan, and I was just like, what the hell else am I going to do here? I was like, yeah, definitely. Like, I'll start soon. He's like, okay, well, we'll get the paperwork over. Sounds like you're really excited to get here. I was like, yep, definitely. I hung up the phone and I bawled my eyes out.
Wow. I bet, man.
I was when I got my first paycheck, my first student loan payment was due. I mean, things were just so tight, right?
Man, I have been there literally a couple years back. I lost my job and was basically paying my bills with credit cards. And basically it got to the month of December and I was like, God, if I don't get a job, like I'm going to have to sell my house. Mm-hmm. I'm going to have to sell everything, go live with family till I get back on my feet. And it was like, I need a job right now. And that week I got a call and landed the job I'm working at now. And I'll retire from this job if they'll let me. And and man, I didn't have to sell the house. It was tight, paying stuff till I got that first paycheck and stuff. But yeah, man, I know exactly how you feel, when it comes to that, because I was in the same boat. I had no money and was just about to lose everything I had,
So you accepted a job at Lucasfilm. About what year was that?
That was late spring 2010.
Okay.
Yep.
So 2 years before the sale to Disney.
Yeah, I mean, I think because the sale happened, I think, and the whole I think the Clone Wars and all that was canceled in 2013 and all that. So technically, because the sale was like late 2010 or late 2012. I'm sorry, right?
Yeah. So October. 2010, that's like season 2-ish of the Clone Wars.
Yeah, roughly. Yeah, because I think I have a season 3. So I said my original video I took down that I didn't have any swag left. I do actually have the water bottles, and I think my water bottle downstairs is season 3. We got some free water bottles, so yeah.
Nice. So you got the job. You were in Michigan at the time, but Lucasfilm is in California. So you had to. I guess you just packed everything up and drove to California from Michigan.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. I had to fix my car first. So I had to borrow some money from some people because needed relocation funds, and like low-level jobs like I got, they didn't really offer relocation, to be honest. You're just kind of a entry-level person.
Right.
A lot of studios are like that, actually. It's not you have some time in that you're worthwhile paying for to relocate. So yeah, I had to go borrow some money from people and quick fix my car. And I was gone by like that Wednesday, and got into San Rafael, California, like a Friday night, stayed at a hotel Saturday morning, found the first hotel or the first apartment that was actually going to be open on Saturday, and got my place got a place completely empty. Yeah. Like I was laying on a foam mat on the floor, and just me and my dog, and hardly anything for dishes. And I got it on the same near the same road of the studio, because like I didn't know my way around. It's like, well, if I'm at least on the same road, I can like hitchhike into work if my car breaks down, which my car did break down, and it was easy to hitchhike to work with my coworkers a year later. Took me a little while to get on my feet, but yeah.
So you accepted that job. Now you got to tell us what it was like walking in there the first time, and here you go.
It is it's surreal. You're driving Lucas Valley Road for the first time, winding curves. You drive past who's the singer Metallica. I'm sorry, I'm brain farting because I'm
James Hetfield.
James Hetfield. He has property right on Lucas Valley, and they kind of knew where it was at. The recruiters, they kind of sell you out, like, oh, you drive past James Hetfield's house or whatever, and tell you where it's at. So you could drive past, and you go up these really winding curves, and you come up to a gate, and I got a call in. They let you in, and come to a guardhouse to check your name. Yep, you're on the list. You park in visitor parking, and then you walk in the front, past the Yoda statue. There's a couple of Yoda statues. There's one at the Big Rock Ranch, and then there's one actually at this facility at San Francisco. And it's just walking down, you see the statue, and you have to stop and look for a second. Like,
oh, I bet.
And the recruiting was
I just got to say, I'm the one that got the music trivia. Nick, you can kiss my ass.
Yeah.
Okay. And look, a good friend of our channel. We got super chats and member chats coming in, but I got to highlight this one for you. Chris Gore from Film Threat says, "Thank you for your service, fellow Michigander here, and may the thread be with you."
Thank you, Chris.
Hell to Chris Gore.
So, and then you walk in, the recruiting team was really on top of it. They really made you feel welcome. I mean, the coordinator was right there, shook my hand. We're still friends to this day, actually, really nice guy. And show you around, and just like you're walking to the building, like, I really can't believe it. Like, and yeah, that was the first day. They do all the orientation, right? You start meeting your supervisor, the crew, and they show you what you're working on, show you your office. And it was just kind of like, I actually had an office with I think we all had a view, actually, for the most part.
A lot of windows there, I'm guessing.
Yeah, that ranch. There was a lot of windows. It's like first thing it was like I took a picture. Like we're supposed to take pictures inside the building, but it's like I took a picture outside the window, said to my family, like, "This is my view."
So is working there kind of like we were laughing about this last night watching House of the Dragon, where in the episode they're walking around the castle, they're sneaking around, and they're going places that they are not supposed to go to, and we're like, they just let these people walk into the throne room? Like, for real? Like, what's it like working at Lucasfilm? Can you just go anywhere you want? I'm guessing the answer is no.
No. How most facilities are, and this is like all major facilities are like this. There's you carry your key card.
Yeah.
And the key card's actually coded. So you have a certain coding. You don't know what that is, right? Nick, you probably know what I'm talking about. IT
yeah.
Stuff
it only gives you access to certain doors that they want you to have access to.
Yep. So
very similar to group policy management and Active Directory for Windows servers. If anybody out there understands that.
Yeah, if you scan your card and the light turns green, you can go in.
Yeah.
If it doesn't turn green, you can't go in. Yeah.
So I'm guessing basically you had access to the area where you worked, and that was probably cafeteria, a couple other general things, and that was probably about it.
Yeah, I think so. So all the basic crew areas. So you had several different wings where the different shows were being produced at. Like the key card worked in all the areas, but it was more, I think, more of the administrative offices or maybe like the IT closets, because I was production support. I wasn't part of the IT, so I didn't have access like to the server room. So you had to get like one of the server techs if you actually needed to go in there, right? The cafeteria, since it's on private property, you didn't have to worry about outsiders strolling the cafeteria. So in that case, it wasn't. But like down in San Francisco or a studio where the studio's like in a urban area, yeah, there would be same thing applies to the cafeteria key card access.
How was the cafeteria food there?
Like all studios, average.
Okay. I like thinking about Lucasfilm and especially where I work at, like the food where I work at the cafeteria there is actually pretty good.
That being said, some of us were fortunate enough to watch a video about them having a barbecue every week.
Yeah.
So the cafeteria, I mean, it's run by it's not like that's an internal company, right? You contract out people who do your food services, so they do all the work. But yeah, during the summers, there was a we could go on the main side. So there's Big Rock Ranch. So Skywalker Ranch is a properties. All right, it's not like there's a building called Skywalker Ranch.
Right.
And so if you're an employee at like the Big Rock, you had to like request. You couldn't just drive over anytime. You had to like do like an RSVP or whatever and be on the list. And yeah, you could go over, and it was common to bring like your families over and like show off like, hey, this is like there's the main house or whatever. And it was all on the outside. But
did you ever go to the main house?
Oh yeah.
Oh
yeah,
sweet.
Quite a few times. Yeah, that's a lot of people would do. Yeah, I actually took my parents to it. A lot of us, we could take our parents there. The rules were like, no pictures on the inside. That being said, I've seen like families going through and like the old grandma snapping photos.
right. Yeah. And that's actually where George Lucas's office was in the main house, right?
I believe so. Yeah, you hear the rumors like, oh, it's upstairs or it's this room or whatever. You couldn't really venture around it, honestly. So there was like this kind of main area you kind of walk through and think like there's this kind of library and then out to the garden. I mean, looking back, it's just like a nice house. But it's where it was at. I think it was made prestigious. All things considered, it wasn't like it was.
So during your time there, what would you say are some of your favorite moments, or some of the things that, because you got 3,000 Star Wars fans here in the live stream right now, and what are some of the things that you were able to work on that are things that probably a lot of us loved?
So yeah, I a little bit on Clone Wars towards the end. I mean, I started out, crewed for a different production, but eventually I went to staff role and I worked on like helping support Clone Wars. Definitely pretty proud to see where that show evolved. They were really pushing the bounds of computer animation for an episodic. You got to remember the schedule for episodics is very quickly. It's not like when you do like a movie, it can be almost any length or whatever. Like episodics, it's it's all on a tight schedule. Each episode's got to be done by a certain date because the next episode's starting. And so if you understood the schedule, it's very impressive to see how quickly they turn these things around. Yeah, I'm definitely very, very proud of that. Rebels. And now some people said it wasn't as good as Clone Wars. And hey, if you didn't
I liked Rebels.
Yeah, it was good.
I mean, I watched it. I recorded it on my DVR and watched it every time.
I know a lot of people that prefer Rebels over Clone Wars.
Yeah.
I think it was interesting for us to just kind of see the transition. How was it when they actually like to step away from the Jedi Council, right? And not knowing. I think the scary part was not knowing like how the fans were going to accept Rebels. And early on, like you kind of read the reviews online, it's really mixed. Just like, it ain't personal. We're trying to do the best we can.
So I got to ask you 2 questions. You working on Clone Wars and Rebels, which is pretty dang iconic as far as Star Wars goes, especially in the animated space. Can you speak on how much George Lucas was involved in the Clone Wars, especially as you were there towards the end for Lucas, and how much involvement, if you don't, and look, I said at the beginning of the show, if there's something that you're not comfortable talking about or something that you don't need to say, brother, it's totally fine. You just, hey, I really can't answer that one, but that's perfectly fine. We're not going to push you on anything, but I'm wondering how much you worked with Dave Filoni.
I mean, not really work with him directly, right? You support the productions. He doesn't know who you are. We're a small crew. I did let's go back to like George. Like, I can't really say like, how do I quantify like how much George worked? He was around. Right?
How many times would you say that you saw George Lucas? Because you did give two specific examples in your video, which was great, about interactions that you had, and there's a lot of people who didn't get to watch your video, which we'll get into here later. But if you could tell everybody those interactions.
I saw George dozens of times walking the hallways, and generally it's just like, don't bother him. I think he's kind of just kind of like me in some ways, like doesn't want to be really bothered. I don't know. Like he's there to do a job, doing reviews. But it's always interesting just to actually hear. I think it was kind of surreal the first 10 times. I'm not trying to brag, but it's like when he was there, like pretty much on a weekly basis for a long time, you'd see it around, and it's just something. It was just part of life, and I don't know. I never had a case where I've seen plenty. I think being around the industry, you hear about some directors, producers up high are real egomaniacs, really degrading people, verbally abusive, and that was never the case. It really wasn't. So I don't think that was his personality. I think he's having fun.
So George Lucas treats people pretty well, then, is what you're saying?
I think all things considered, yeah. I mean, granted, I'm going to say this, in the entertainment industry, for as bad as it's been, it sets the bar pretty low. Like, if you're not, like, physically accosting the opposite sex, you're probably doing something pretty good, which by their standards is like the bare minimum. So,
right.
compared to what other people in that industry would do. Yeah, I mean, you see George around a lot, and the interactions, like, ran into him at the bagel. He just kind of walk up, he just casually say, like, I was picking a bagel, and just was like, hey, what's there? It's like, oh, probably bad decisions. He says, yeah, So it's not like he would just like snub you like that, right? He would say things, he just say it back, and just leave it at that, though, right? And
now he spoke to you a few times now, but you also talked about how he was such a celebrity and such a big figure that there was kind of an unwritten rule, not to really approach him yourself.
Yeah, I think it just makes sense. I mean, I've been approached by fans. I've been just run down by fans in the store. I actually stopped going to a Target in Nevada, California, because one diehard fan, he had seen me at the crew jacket, and then whenever he see me coming shopping, he would follow me around and pester me.
Oh my goodness.
And I'm a nobody, right? And you think, okay, someone pesters a complete nobody that hard. This guy must just get harangued. And like you see photos of him, like there's been photos of George sitting in a food court, like eating, And like, people post like, "Oh my gosh, George Lucas is at a food court." It's like that's kind of like who he is. Like he would go to a food court by himself and eat, right? And as you know, Star Wars fans, the fan base is fanatic, and some people, I don't think they mean bad, right? I think they just want to say, "Hey, thank you. You really inspired me," and this and that. I think they mean well, but I think you can only deal with that so many hundreds of thousands of times where it gets kind of creepy. So yeah, it's just kind of like, just don't chase them down, and just be respectful. And I get it. It's just weird enough for me. I had plenty. I can probably give you half a dozen examples where it was awkward for me being a nobody because I wore the wrong T-shirt or jacket around the wrong person.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's where I really understood where I came from. I was like, yeah, I completely get why.
So I got another question for you that's very important. Did you ever see Kathleen Kennedy? And if you did see her, why did you not take her out?
Come on. Why? Because I was a Marine? No.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I just think that's. I mean, I'd seen like company events. That was it.
So you did see Kathleen Kennedy a few times.
Well, I mean, everyone did. Like, we're at a company event, like a holiday event, we'd all see her. But it's like when we all got moved down from Big Rock Ranch into San Francisco after Disney, we put in one building. Like, I'm on one floor all day long. The executives are on a different floor. You don't really cross paths. Be honest. I mean, there could be a secretary in licensing that's the same level as me that I would never see because we're not on the same floor. It's just this is how it is physically. So, I mean, how much she was really on? I'd never answer that. It was just like,
sure.
I think I only seen her at company events. It's like, oh, there's KK, and she'd do a speech, and that was really it.
So, what about like you being a fan of Star Wars, yet you're working on it? It's your job. That has to be pretty bizarre.
Yeah,
it is bizarre because yes, when you start combining that whole like do what you love, and people say you do what you love, you'll never work again. Like bullshit, you work really, 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 really hard.
right.
You will work weekends, you'll sleep under your desk, you'll do whatever it takes because you care so much about it. I think that's for any creative industry. That's why I loved entertainment though, was like the heart, the drive. Like people just want to do anything. That's what inspired me to join, was seeing like the stories of like Spaz Williams, who was like the original Island VFX animator who did Jurassic Park. He's single-handedly responsible for changing the entire industry. I mean, it was just like a complete obsession. But then you also have to remember, like, this is a job too, right? You still have to do your compliance training with HR. You still have to do meetings. You still have to do like annual performance reviews. You still have to do all these things. Right. And that's where it kind of sets in. So it's just like, it's a job.
Go ahead, Nick? I'm sorry.
I was going to ask. So, what year did you leave the company? And when you left the company, what was that process like when you left? Were they like, all right, you can leave, but you can never say this or talk about this? Or did you have to like go through a whole, what's the word I'm looking for? Like a debrief,
exit interview,
and
there was an exit interview, but it really wasn't about that. It was just kind of like, these are going to be your benefits, and you can apply for Cobra, and there's a USB drive with your paperwork on it. But yeah, it's like, no, you can't say this, can't say that. I mean, there's an NDA in there. It's like, you're not supposed to like just like disparage the company. But I also think like, I think there's a difference between disparaging the company and saying, hey, I don't like your most recent TV shows. Those are two different things.
Yeah.
Right. Because a company can, here's the thing, it's like people have different experiences in different departments within that company. That's why I have good friends I've gotten along with for years. I still admire that they're still there 20 plus years.
Do you still keep in contact with the people, a lot of people that are still working for Lucasfilm currently?
Yeah, off and on. Social media, we're still connected. Once in a while, they might say something on, my personal post on Facebook or whatever, and hey, cool photo, what you been doing, or this and that.
Well, I have a question for you, Knee Payne,
yeah.
and everything rides on your answer for this question, whether or not you really get accepted into this fandom. Okay, here we go. I'm talking to Knee Payne, the fan of Star Wars, not the person that worked there. what are your favorite 2 pieces of Star Wars media, and what are your favorite, or what are your least favorite, or the 2 pieces that you loathe the most? Nick, you go first. You go first to kind of loosen this up a little bit.
2 favorites: Empire, Return of the Jedi. 2 worst: Acolyte already. Only 3 episodes in, and The Last Jedi.
Yeah, Acolyte, The Last Jedi, for sure, by miles. And then Empire Strikes Back, and what I call Star Wars. 1977 is not A New Hope. It's Star Wars.
Yeah.
You know. So, anyways, those are my 2. Knee Payne, the floor is yours.
Thank you. I've decided Empire. I mean, that's up there with perfection, like Aliens, as far as perfect filmmaking.
Yeah, Aliens, another one, something else. That and Lord of the Rings, T2, up there in my top 10. Predator, love them.
And then probably that last season 6 episode of Clone Wars. I mean, it was just like watching Ahsoka walk away.
Season 7. Or 6. 7. No, you're right. Wait, you talking about when she leaves the Jedi Order? After they found her. Yeah, after they found her innocent. Yes, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
I think that was a powerful scene. That and be honest, like when you're working on stuff, you don't like. We would do tech reviews of shots, and what you do is like in tech review a shot, like anyone could go. They would kind of do an open invitation. You'd watch shots, and we'd look for technical problems like intersection. When you see intersection, let's say the backpack of Ezra, if the geometry was going inside his shoulder and looked off, right, you'd call that out. And so you would see the episodes in broken up in different shots, and not always audio, because people would be distracted by the audio, so they'd play it without the audio. You want people to focus on the visuals. And so you wouldn't always see the full episodes, to be honest. And so it wasn't until like it would actually sometimes air on Cartoon Network, they actually saw it. So I actually got to experience a lot of episodes like the fans. I didn't always see the full episodes in the studio. I rarely did. You're just so busy. Like it's a job day to day.
Yeah.
So unless you're working in editorial as an editor, you don't always see the full episode. And and so that was just like the way it was lit, but the passion. I mean, listen, all things aside, like when Ahsoka first came out, I remember when I first went to the Clone Wars movie. Was that 2000? When was that? That was 03, 04. I don't know when that was, but maybe not that old. And I remember like that snips, right? I'm watching the Clone Wars movie when it first came out. I was like, oh, this is just really wow. And then, but it's like season 2, I think Ahsoka started to grow, and by kind of gotten to 6, like I really liked the character, and I thought they really built it up, and I thought that was a really powerful. Wait, sorry, my brain's not working. Been a long day, people. I've had a long weekend. Answering a lot of comments I didn't expect. I don't know. We should walk off. That really moved me. Now, if you're talking about my least favorite pieces,
this is what we're all waiting for right here.
Now, mind you, I do not watch anything recent. I've lost interest. I did not care for the Han Solo.
Yeah, Solo. Movie. I didn't even. It was the one. It's the only Star Wars movie that's come out while I've been alive that I did not go to the theater and see. And
I said this in my video. Like I've sort of like the sequel trilogy. I kind of like it's all like one big mush. Whatever one where Leia basically force flew through the space back to the spaceship.
Last Jedi.
Yeah, thank you. Sorry.
What's
mentally
that?
Block that, but it's just like I just remember just like in this chair, just
no. That was Rise of Skywalker.
Oh, it was a Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah, that was Rise of Skywalker. Yep.
But yeah, that was probably that. Just to me, it was like I was just tapped out at that point. Like I'm just like, all right, ring the bell. I give up. You win.
Yeah,
I'm done.
Well, and horses on the Star Destroyer,
camel horse dolls.
Yeah,
the camel horse thing.
That's right.
Hey,
right.
The chat says you are now part of the tribe.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, that was probably my least favorite.
Yeah.
So,
oh man, yeah, it was just freaking terrible.
Nick, did you want to ask him about like the last 24 hours? Like,
yeah. So yeah, because I know a lot of people here. So I'm sure, and I'm just assuming and guessing here, but I'm guessing, when you made these videos initially, you're just like, and I saw a lot of your videos. A lot of it was a lot of tech stuff, cameras, you know,
and they were good
sort of thing, you know, and a lot of people like literally I've seen comments today saying, man, he had a great video on AI artwork and stuff like that. Like that he had really good videos on, and now they're gone. So a lot of people you were getting a lot of traction on your channel on a lot of the stuff that had nothing to do with Star Wars, that a lot of people that kind of have the same interests as you found those videos interesting, you know. And you know, I'm sure when you made those, you're like, oh, I'm a small channel, this probably isn't really gonna go nowhere, nobody's gonna ever hear or see this, you know. And then it blew up, and a lot of people started speculating, did Disney lawyers contact this guy and like, hey, we're gonna freaking take you down, you need to remove these videos?
We saw it all.
Yeah. I mean, everybody's speculating all over the place. What happened? You know, he made these videos, everybody was glued in, and now everything is gone. You know, so just kind of take us through as much of the process that you feel comfortable giving to everybody out there on that whole thing from when you did it to today when you privatized all of them.
Sure. Yeah. Well, I'll start saying no legal departments reached out to me yet. So I think just with proactively taking it down, I think they usually do when they have to force you to take something down.
Yeah.
So hopefully I just did these things in time, because I'm sorry, I'm not trying to be negative, but so you look at my video, I do random stuff, right? I have no theme to my channel. I was just like, I like to shoot content. I mean, listen, I always love multimedia. I have tons of cameras. I like to just shoot. I like to edit. I like to do things on my own. And I always said, it's like, listen, I know I'm not part of a big franchise anymore, but I would rather have the content be 100% mine and suck than work on somebody else's that sucks. Because I will own my own suckiness.
Yeah.
That's what we say here.
Yeah.
And I actually love owning my own stuff, no matter how small it is. So I also, kind of use my channel a bit. I talk about things. If some videos, I did kind of privatize a little bit before this, was like talking about my partner's cancer, and I've kind of talked about it in some other videos a little bit. And so I kind of use the channel a little bit to kind of just talk about personal things. I don't know. I don't really go to a therapist or anything like that. And my venting has been on YouTube. So whether it's I'm happy about something or I'm really sad about something, like a struggle with cancer, I just talk about things. So and I've really held back on talking about where I'm from and what I've done. And recently I did the kind of video on Mike Zero, because I was like, this guy's just too weird to not talk about.
Yeah. We've been watching him for years.
No, we haven't. Years. We don't watch nothing.
What's weird though is when you look at his videos, how close they are in time. It's insane.
Yeah.
That is insanely consistent.
Yeah, he's basically become a meme over several years.
Man.
So
he takes the craziest Reddit post and makes videos about them. That's what he does.
Yeah.
Yeah. So no, I just like, you know what, I don't want to talk. I don't want to really get on the bashing, because I know a lot of the channels, they really get the fans worked up. I understand why a lot of you worked up, because I was still a fan. I'd be super mad too, just reading what I've read about the writing. All right, gender politics aside, the writing just doesn't sound doesn't pull you in, right? It's not like stuff like Aliens.
Yeah.
What are the iconic lines in Aliens? Like, hey, has anyone ever mistaken you for a man? No, you. People will be citing that shit for another 40 years because it was epic.
Yeah.
Right. That's writing. That's character development.
Yeah.
So I understand why the fans are upset.
Vasquez.
But yes. Oh man.
Yeah.
The best. I always thought there should have been a series about her, but then I wouldn't want somebody to ruin it either. I just love the idea of Vasquez.
She was a complete badass.
Totally.
Nobody was complaining about a strong female woman character in Aliens, or
really could have survived. We would have all still cheered.
Yeah,
exactly. We loved them. They're amazing. Yeah. So, no, I made these videos. I try to be vague, right? I understand, you're not supposed to disparage and talk about, but it's I try to be super vague in places.
Yeah.
And just kind of acknowledge people where they can and not really get into details. And I was like, well, all the IP information I know is old because all this stuff's been released. Right. When I left, I knew they were going to bring back the last season of Clone Wars, and I didn't say anything back then. Right. I kept it quiet. Now it's been out and everyone's seen it. It's not a secret.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but I had kind of realizing these NDAs are extremely vague too. And so because they're vague, even though you're vague, they can use vagueness against you. And I didn't really think too much about what I posted. Like I posted it, just my thoughts. And then we went away to Yosemite. I posted a video about that. Like we did a hike, and she really wanted to do one of her favorite hikes while she still had some strength. And we did that. And it was a long day, kind of halfway through that hike. We came back from Yosemite. And then I'm checking my phone. I'm like, what? And then all of a sudden, like, your video comes up, and then like things start blowing up. And I kind of was watching some of my videos. I was like, I don't mean to. Like, I'm trying to give away like details, but I'm talking like really old information. And I know some ex-colleagues that are on LinkedIn that regularly like smoke the company badly. They say really bad things on like a daily basis. I'm like, I'm not doing this. I'm doing really bad. But then I realized, like,
wow.
Thing is, I can't control how people interpret the information. The problem is I'm so vague. They can interpret that any way and use a vague, against me. And I originally took the Star Wars videos down, and then people jumped, like, they start commenting on all my other videos. Just like blah 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 blah, and I tried telling them, I was like, no, listen, I did this because I'm a little freaked out.
They're going to your most recent video, to ask you,
and then
why did you take it down?
People were going to older videos, like they were just going right down the line, like, and I'm telling them, like, no, like, listen, there's a lot, like, listen, I have a very demanding day job. This was just too much to deal with at once. Cause I'm coming back from vacation because I took last week off. So when you come back vacation, you got 600 emails and 5,000 Slack messages.
Right. Yeah.
Your tickets. Just like, oh, I don't have the mental energy for this. And then all this is blowing up, and my notifications are blowing up in email. I'm like, and then I realized maybe if this got the attention, right? I think if it's small, they don't care if you're mad, but if you start getting a lot of attention, and potentially if you monetize that attention, then they will get pissed. So I took it down. But then people are like, oh, the lawyers did it. I was like, no, it's not the lawyer. Like, this is the lawyers talking. I'm like, okay, like I feel like I'm talking to a wall, and I don't really want you all blowing up every single video of mine. So I'm just going to take everything down. And then I seen you're going to the live stream. I'm like, I don't know these guys, right? But then I emailed you, and the kind of some silence, and then you start responding back. I'm like, okay, maybe.
Yeah, we were actually on another stream at the time. That's why we didn't see. Actually, somebody in the stream we were on said that you were in our stream. That's when I checked it. Coach was unaware of all this, so I was the one actually going back and forth with you in the chat. And then I told Coach after we were off that stream, and he was like, "Dude, send him my number. Just tell him to call me. And I'll chat with him on the phone."
Yeah. Then we talked to Coach, and he's just like, he completely like. I was like, he got my confidence. And it's like, okay, like I get, like you're not like hanging my trident. Listen, I don't want to come on and just been like, F this up that. I had a lot of great experiences. And what's kind of sad, I think, is like people are so scared to be talk about what they in. There's a lot of fun things we did. I think there's a lot of fun stories.
Absolutely.
And I'm kind of like baffled. I told Coach on the phone, I was like, it didn't really occur to me until I went on YouTube, and I looked up like Ex-Lucasfilm, because people on LinkedIn and like Twitter, like ex-colleagues of mine, they always put in like Ex-Lucasfilm, ex-Pixar, they throw that in their identity. But then when people are like YouTube, like, oh yeah, I did this. Not even like, they only talk about like positive things, like the fun times they had. And like, I talk about like, the Frank Oz Q&A. And I think Frank Oz is one of the most amazing people to listen to him talk. So down to earth. This is a dude I could straight up have more than one beer with.
Frank Oz?
Yes. And when he talked about his notebook, just blew my mind. I was like, why is this notebook not an archive? For those who don't know what I'm talking about, he's talked about this in other Q&As and interviews. Whenever he did a character, he would always ask, what's the backstory? They never had a backstory. Like, well, we made the puppet. He's like, no, a puppet's a character. A character should have a backstory, which defines your personality. And so he would create backstories. And he's like, oh, I did that for all but one character. And so someone was like, what character? He's like, well, Animal can't get a backstory. He's psychotic. He's Animal. And you'll kind of laugh, but you just think like, I want to read this notebook. Like he's like saying, oh, it's in my closet. Every time my girlfriend finds it and I got to put it back away, she pulls it out. I'm like, that should be like next to the Declaration of Independence. Like it should be preserved. You've puppeteered so many iconic characters. You wrote a backstory that only you know. Like that hurts my heart. I want to read this. So like, there's amazing things like that. Like, I don't know why people just don't talk about that. Like there was a couple hundred at that Q&A, and he's done other Q&As. I don't know why people don't share this information, because when I tell like old film buffs about like meeting him and what he said, they're like, oh my gosh, that's so cool. Right. And it's like, why don't people talk about this? These are neat things. This isn't disparaging a company or breaking IP. It's just, why is this not more knowledge? And I don't know. I feel like it's just things I could just share that people just find interesting. I don't mind doing it. I'm just a dude. I wasn't a big director or anything, but
yeah. Tim Rose, I think, had some Frank Oz stories, didn't he, Coach?
He did. He did.
I can't
he had
remember.
Stories about so many. Like George Lucas gave Tim Rose a Corvette.
Yeah,
as a gift.
No, I thought it was a motorcycle, a Harley.
No, it's a Corvette.
Oh, was it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but a lot of great stories, and it's so much fun for the fandom, to hear the inner workings of somebody who is absolutely, actually there, and that's what's so fascinating, and your videos definitely got a lot of people's attention, and and we appreciated it, So let me ask you this, Knee Payne. I feel that the fandom is more united today than they've been in a long time. You're not watching The Acolyte. You're not even a Disney Plus subscriber.
Nope.
You've kind of checked out on Star Wars. But are you kind of seeing that the fandom seems to be united? Like, because this
united in a negative way against.
It's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's still united. You can't pick which way you get.
Yeah.
At least you're on one side of the fence. Oh, no,
Yeah.
I would agree with that. It's like kind of the first time, because I think there's been a lot of division. Like people like, I like this, I like that. And this is probably the most united I've seen in a long time. So I was going to say something else, completely had a brain fart. But yeah.
Oh, it's okay.
Yeah. Do you ever, and you don't have to answer this or give specific people, but the people that you still keep in contact with that are still there, do they ever talk to you about how things are going over there? Like if are they ever like, man, it's a complete shit show over here, or,
They don't say. They don't say anything like that. And, and that's why I kind of left at Mike Zero. And he was all like, my inside connection was like, you don't have an inside connection. I have inside connections that they don't tell me anything.
Yeah.
Right.
Really. Well, and not that I ask either, but no, they really don't. And I don't know, maybe they don't have to. Maybe honestly, I'm gone. It's not like I'm responsible. If it is rough, I didn't cause it. And that's not me. To be honest too, it's like there's at some point where we can get together with your old colleagues, and this is not just Lucasfilm. This is like every studio. So I've got people I've worked with at other studios. We can get together and just go in a gripe fest, just because how the industry in general runs, which is really poorly. So it's like you kind of don't really have to say anything. It's just kind of idea like if it's still the industry as a whole doesn't seem to want to change. It only seems to kind of want to get a little worse.
I'm with you. I've got some people in chat asking the question, why did you leave Lucasfilm? What were the circumstances there? And when was that?
So I decided end of 2017 I wanted to leave, and I actually, because I wasn't starting the next job until 2018. I stayed on for the holiday season to get the holiday pay, and I left right afterwards, coming back from holiday vacation.
Gotcha.
So very early 2018, January. It was multi-layered. So one thing I noticed is a lot of my friends that left weren't coming back.
Mm-hmm.
And they're just like, listen, pays better, life's like new opportunities. And I started realizing too, is like, I had interviewed at some jobs, and I realized like how, because entertainment studios not consider themselves a tech company, so they don't stay on top of tech. And I was a pipeline and engineering person, so technology is my job. Right. And you need, as you know, Nick, you need to stay on top of things.
Oh,
and so you go to modern companies who are all cloud based, and you're just like, what do you do? It's like, well, we sub-process command line tools in Linux all day long. Like, what is that? That's like a 20-year-old workflow. Some people may not get it. I'm sorry in the chat if you don't get the joke, but it's basically we had like a 20-year-old workflow, and everyone's moving ahead. And I remember one of the higher ups within the R&D executives, he was going to kind of try to talk to me. I'm a really nice guy. I always respected him. He was going to have this big speech. I was like, listen, I think I'm already way behind. If I don't leave now, I'm going to be further behind. Like every year I'm doing this, I farther further behind. I'm not going to have any market value. And he goes, wow, I had kind of a speech. I was going to kind of sell you this big speech to stay, but you kind of took all the wind out of my sails on that one. And so, I kind of realized, for myself, career, retirement, family, I needed to kind of move on.
So did you have something lined up already before you left, or were you just like, man, I'm leaving, I'm gonna just start looking and hunting for other stuff?
Yeah, I went and did the tech startup thing around San Francisco, and that was pretty much what I realized. The TV show Silicon Valley was kind of a documentary because it's really that ludicrous and tech startup world. So I went and tried that, and that didn't work out. And actually I was kind of burned out in tech, because it was kind of a volatile lifestyle. I actually went and drove semis for 6 months. I want to take a break.
Oh, wow.
Then went back. Yeah. And then I went and did some consulting work for smaller studios. And then I eventually got into like cybersecurity for industries that fall under like federal compliance, like healthcare and finance industries, getting their infrastructure up to code for audits and compliance.
Yeah, so my dad was a cybersecurity instructor for a company called Learning Tree, and he taught courses on all that stuff, a lot of forensic stuff and cybersecurity stuff. He had a ICCP certification for cybersecurity stuff, so he did that stuff all the time. And that's kind of how I got into a lot of tech and IT stuff, was through my dad. But but you going and driving semis for a little while, that was probably definitely a job change there, life change.
My partner thought I was a little bit nuts. She's probably right, but sometimes you need just a change of scenery for a little while.
Yeah.
And just did that for a short bit. What's been interesting is I've actually come across on LinkedIn quite a few ex-VFX stars that started driving semis. Like they end up in kind of layoffs, and they said, wages are going down, jobs are getting hard to get unless you want to relocate overseas. And there's actually another YouTube interview done with or a podcast interview done with another VFX artist that he had worked at ILM before me. We knew the same people. We never worked together, but he's been driving for CR England. So, he just, I don't know. I think he just got kind of tired of the rat race. He didn't know what else to do because he'd done VFX for 25 years. And, truck driving, as long as you have a clean record and you can pass a drug test, they'll put a button steering wheel and get you CDL. Yep. And that's what he went and did. So
Coach has his CDL.
I do. I am a 20-year veteran in public education, and I also drive a bus in the morning and afternoon. So I get up at 4:30, drive a bus, teach all day long, and then I take them home. And then I got nothing left by the time I get home in the afternoon. I'm done. I'm absolutely done. So let me ask you this.
Sure.
Man, this question might be too spicy. I don't know, Nick. Nick, you might have to shut me up on this one. Brother, I've been a fan of Star Wars my entire life. When my parents took me to the very first video rental store, I was 4 years old, the one that opened in my hometown, and I saw the box cover for the original Star Wars movie. It was about 1983, 1984. And I said, that's the one I want. And I didn't know why. I couldn't even read, man. Looking at the back of the box cover, I couldn't even read it. My parents said, that's the one you want? I said, yeah, that's it. So I go home, put it in the VCR, and I watch the original Star Wars. And I'm hooked for the rest of my life. I got a case full of the vintage figures that we grew up with. Me and Nick didn't even like each other, Knee Payne.
No.
We were 13 years old in the 7th grade. I didn't like him at all. He liked my girlfriend. He had a crush on her, and I did not like Nick. Trying to move in on my woman. But one day I walked down the row in school, and I see that Nick is reading a book called Darth Vader's Glove. And I said, you like Star Wars? And he said, dude, I love Star Wars. We've been best friends ever since.
Yeah.
And that was 31 years ago.
long time ago. Yeah.
And here we are starting a YouTube channel 4 or 5 years ago now. We're 4 or 5 years in, and it's about what we love. Well, what we love is from a long time ago.
Yeah.
And things are really struggling with Star Wars right now. And it's hard to find things in entertainment today that you love. It's hard.
Yes.
It is really difficult to go find things. What would you say to the Star Wars fan who is struggling right now from one Star Wars fan to the other?
Man, what do you say? That's a really good question. I have a hard time answering that because it's like this definitely isn't the Star Wars that I fell in love with. Honestly.
Yeah.
It feels like something different. And it's just like, boy, I just kind of felt like it's like, if you wanted something so different, why just create a new franchise? That way you're not being fodder on every corner, right? The Star Wars fans wouldn't care what you did if you started your own IP, your own franchise. It could be sci-fi based, all you want. You can use the thread, right?
Yeah.
Call it that.
May the thread be with you.
Yeah. I don't know. I really feel bad for what people are hanging on to because I understand like the love and wanting to hang on to something and not wanting to see become something else. And I don't know. It's just like, I think I was talking to somebody in chat and I was like, it's kind of like when a band changes genre and they wonder why fans get pissed off. It's like, why don't you start a different band? It can be the same members for the most part. If you want to try something different, why'd you do that and piss off your fans? When a restaurant completely changes their menu and like, now they're not coming back. It's like, well, why did you dump on the people who've been coming to you for 20 years for your amazing meals? That's like, well, these other meals are amazing. Like the people who come there for 20 years because they come for what was already amazing that they already loved.
Yeah.
If you wanted to try something different menu, start a different restaurant.
100%. Yeah. Yeah. I agree.
And so that part just doesn't make sense to me. It's like, listen, I think Star Wars fans, because you all love it so much, can be hard to please. I would kind of a joke to me and my friends would been like we try and talk about like how YouTube commenting, the comment section of YouTube video can be toxic. They're like, well, the most toxic section is a YouTube video about Star Wars. And I was like, yeah, I think fans are very passionate. So I think the fans can be hard to please, but at the same time, they're not hard to please, right? You know what they want. And if you just stay on that recipe, you keep making that pizza the same way you've been making pizzas for 20 years for your restaurant, the same people can come back and keep buying the same pizza. It's not hard. So
yes,
I don't tell them to make them feel better.
Yeah. Yeah, it is what it is. It's Star Wars by name only at this point, is what I always say. It's Star Wars by name only. It's not.
Yeah, we do this in our videos. We go Star Wars.
Yeah.
Quotations, air quotes.
So when you were at Lucasfilm, did you hear a lot of people talking about, because you were still there after Rise of Skywalker, or not, but Force Awakens came out and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And so did you hear? But you left. Let's see, it was beginning 2018. So you left before The Last Jedi came out, then, right?
Yeah.
That was 2017, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, 2015 Force Awakens, 17 the Last Jedi, and 19 is The Rise of Skywalker.
I think I actually did go to the cruise screening for that in 2017. I think there was a cruise screening. I just didn't go to it.
Okay. Did you hear a lot of talk about like YouTubers and comments on stuff like that? Like, was that conversation going around the office much back then?
And what they did to Luke Skywalker's character?
Yeah.
What?
You gotta be honest, not much at the time. Like, I don't think you guys really like picked up momentum and speed and a voice to be noticed until probably the past 5 or 6 years.
Yeah, probably 2019, late 2018 into 2019.
I think they would more comment. Maybe people make comments about people on Twitter are pissed off, right? I think it was all about the Twitter space. It wasn't the YouTube space as much.
Yeah. But now Twitter is under Elon Musk, and he's pretty much allowing everybody to pretty much say and do whatever they want on there. Back in the day, hell, a lot of things we've said on Twitter now, back before he took over, our account would probably be banned on there.
Yeah.
Well, look, Knee Payne, I know that you worked in, in VFX and did the everything that you've been telling us about. If you were in charge of Star Wars, what would you do next?
Like if they're like, Knee Payne, you are in control. You are now George Lucas, and you can pretty much do whatever you want at Lucasfilm. What are you doing day one to try to turn this around? Because honestly, Lucasfilm is losing money left and right. I don't know how it's sustainable for them.
It doesn't make sense.
Yeah,
it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I have no insight on the financials. I can't quote how much they've lost, but yeah, what do I do? What would I do? I don't know. Maybe I would. So I personally like the idea of episodic productions. I think that's why I like it's like the stories can go on, they can evolve. I would like to see episodic shows go maybe back off the movies a bit because I think people are getting burned out in the movie industry, or like just going to theater sometimes. I don't know. I think the infantry side of me is I'd like to focus maybe episodes more on the soldiers, right, involved, like in the rebellion. Stories about those rebel soldiers that were just characters in the background in the other movies. I would love to have seen their story, where they came from, what they were fighting for.
Bring the wars back into Star Wars, basically.
Oh, how about that?
Yes. Because I think war movies, it's not about being a warmongering American. I think in war, you see the best and worst that mankind has to offer.
Yeah.
Right. You see the most violent, but then you see the brotherhood, the self-sacrifice to stand up to protect the one next to you, no matter where he came from. If he's fighting for the same cause you are, to fight alongside of him. I think that was a series I would like to produce if that was my choice.
All right, so I have to ask you this: as somebody that went into Star Wars, into Lucasfilm, that worked there right around season 2, season 3, it just so happens that season 3 is the first time that we saw the Witches of Dathomir. I gotta ask you, as one fan to another, do you think that we're kind of getting a little over-reliance on witchcraft and the witches thing going? I know you're not a Disney Plus subscriber right now.
No, it's okay.
But we're getting a lot of it. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
There's more witches in Star Wars than Jedi right now.
Yeah. I never realized until everything come out, right? So I kind of stepped back in and was like, okay, let me kind of look at people getting worked up. I was like, wow, yeah, I like the way
many.
I was crying, not in a good way, crying. Seeing that
it's so cringe, man. This is what Star Wars has become.
I like the Witches of Death because I like exploring, what could be out there. But I really kind of but I never remember the fans saying we want more witches.
Yeah,
that's the thing.
That's true.
Yeah,
it's like, so why give them more what they're not asking for?
Yeah, great point. Would if you did take over Lucasfilm, would you keep Dave Filoni employed or fire him day one?
Oh, what a question, Nick.
I will answer first. I would fire Dave Filoni day one. He would no longer be working at Lucasfilm if I took over Lucasfilm. If you don't want to answer, you can say, I don't want to.
Actually, I might answer in a way that a lot of people won't like. Is I have seen the artistic side of Dave, and
he's given some good stuff.
It's amazing, to hear him talk, how much you go into some people's offices, they have all the books on the shelf. It's like, well, did you really read that book? Dave memorizes those books. I mean, he really is a strong source of knowledge, and I would actually want to. I think there was something there. I want to keep him around. I mean, George saw something in that, and he really did a lot for Clone Wars. I don't think I could. I get your point, but since I've seen another part of them, really just focus on just storytelling and building up characters and pacing. The guy has a great memory. I mean, he could be reviewing an episode and be like, what we should do? Do you remember back on season 3, shot 406? Well, it's like the guy just remembers everything about he worked on. I mean, amazing memory, and that is a skill, and that is a talent, and there's something there, and that's what I'll say about that. I would keep Dave because I've seen what he can do.
Well, maybe in that case, I'll keep him in a little corner there.
We'll keep him for you, Knee Payne. We'll keep him for you.
Yeah.
Like I said, it may not have been a popular response everyone wanted to hear, but
otherwise we're going to fire that tail. Okay. So I want to ask you this. You had already exited the company.
Right.
When, in my opinion, the greatest moment in Disney Star Wars history, when Luke Skywalker showed up in The Mandalorians Chapter 16. Mm-hmm. How did you respond? How did you react when you first found out and saw Luke Skywalker return, the hero that you grew up with, that I grew up with, that Nick grew up with? How did you react to that? Did you feel like Star Wars is back?
So I did not see the episode, but I saw all the scenes. And yes, that did touch a soft part of me that remembers back to being a little boy. And I think we all looked up to Luke Skywalker, right? And that took me back. How many years? I really did. I really felt that. And I was like, man, like I almost was like, maybe I should resubscribe. I think I'm missing out on something. But then I still didn't like watch it.
Yeah. So what was the what killed it for you? Where you're like, what made you check out
as a fan?
As a fan,
definitely the flying Leia really.
Oh, it's so cringe.
That
the Mary Poppins like through space, like what?
Yeah, that was probably the one scene where I was like, it just died in me, and I can't think of another scene that just scarred me as much as that did.
Mary Poppins in space. We actually did a documentary on the sequel trilogy. If you have time at some point in time in the future, it's our most popular video on our channel. We had a narrator. Coach did the vast majority of the work, so props to Coach. He did the vast majority of the work.
Thank you.
But it was a collaborative effort between me and him, with him doing the majority of the work, and had a narrator, music to it, like everything. It was like a 7-month-long project where we kind of broke down the sell of Disney all the way through the rise of Skywalker and then the aftermath of all that. So yeah, if you ever have some free time, check out that documentary.
I think you'll enjoy watching it.
Yeah,
I will have to check that out.
And I think you'll probably agree with a lot of what's said and shown in it. Minus Dave Filoni, would you keep Kathleen Kennedy day one, or would you fire her day one? I'll answer first. I would fire Kathleen Kennedy day one. Look, I think she has been absolutely horrible. And even the people out there that support Disney and Lucasfilm still to this day have even started to turn on her. That would still back her. But I would fire her day one also.
So this is what Knee Payne already knows as a YouTuber, somebody who watches a lot of Star Wars content creators. He already knows this. A lot of us look at Kathleen Kennedy and we're thinking, because you got to remember, we're on the outside. Mm-hmm. We have a bird's eye perspective from a distance. But when I'm looking at it from that perspective, I'm thinking, man, how could somebody destroy what was once indestructible? The greatest movie franchise of all time. That it's just crazy to me, the shape and position that Star Wars is in currently. When it was a golden cash register that should be producing, we can't talk about failure when it comes to Star Wars, because Star Wars can't fail. But it just seems like in the last few years, it's failure after failure after failure. And that's kind of what Nick is speaking to there. Nick, I need to step away for just a second. I'll be right back in like 90 seconds, guys. Yep. Nick, make sure you're hitting some of these super chats, because some of them are directly to our special guest.
Yep. Yeah. We're gonna hit them and let them get some questions answered.
I'll be right back. Knee Payne, I'll be right back. My friend.
Yeah, I don't really know what your viewers were going to expect. I mean, I'm sorry if I disappointed anyone, but it's like, I guess when Coach was like, "Hey, you should come on," I was like, "Yeah, will I say the things they wanted to say?"
No,
right? Like,
no. Literally, we just want your honest thoughts. I mean,
yeah,
you don't have to pander to any side one way or another, because we have people on our channel all the time that don't agree with us. We don't agree with them, but we're still friends at the end of the day. We're still respectable. And I hope everybody in chat is the same way. For the most part, everybody in our chat generally always is. So yeah. I mean, just whatever your genuine, thoughts and feelings are, whether anybody agrees or not, who cares?
Yeah.
We really just want to know and get your own personal take and opinion on it.
I just someone asked me what I think of Rogue One. I think Rogue One, that was definitely, I think that there should have been more movies like Rogue One. I thought Rogue One was bold.
It was
killing everyone at one.
It was my favorite one of it was my favorite movie that Disney came out. Now I had some criticisms of it, and there were some things that I didn't like about it, but overall I thought it was very, very well done, and I enjoyed it for the most part.
Yeah, and I wish maybe more films like that kind of took that path. That's all I would love to have seen. And people tell me Andor was good. Some people might disagree with me here, but I've heard from a few people like, "Oh, you should check out Andor." It's like, well, if I can see it on a different platform, I will.
Right. So the thing is, I'll say this about Andor. For the majority of people that actually watched it, most people seem to really enjoy it. Now, for me personally, I did not like Andor. I thought it took itself way too serious. And it lost the lightheartedness of Star Wars. There was too many real world, like there were characters in there with guns that basically were AK-47s, and stuff like that just pulls me out. You could have modded that AK-47 into something to look more sci-fi. Not like like the Taliban running around over here. It was just
because it's supposed to be a universe far, far away. So make
exactly.
me feel like it's far, far away.
And there were so many things that was just too, earthy, too real world, modern day,
what are we talking about?
Andor. And so the writing aspect of it, the writing side of it, I had no issue with. It just, for me personally, it just didn't feel like Star Wars. But a lot of our friends and a lot of people here in chat and a lot of subscribers on the channel, they loved Andor and they think it was one of the greatest things Disney's done. And I have no issue with anybody that thinks that. For me personally, it wasn't my thing.
The awkward silence as we read the comments.
Yeah, that was. What are we doing? What are we doing right now?
Oh, you were asking him a question, and then we were talking about, and I'm trying to remember what you had asked right before you said I'm about to bounce out.
So
we were talking about.
Look, full disclosure, I had to go pee.
Oh, yeah.
Very badly. All right. So we got some messages here. Knee Payne, I don't know how much you watch live streams, but people send in questions via super chat, and some of these are directly to you. Or about you, like our friend Agimara here, 2018. Hey guys, looking forward to this interview. We are Echo Base Network. Thank you, Agimara, for sending that in. Let's see. We also got another one. Mexican Iron Man, former producer here at EBN. Welcome to the EBN family, Knee Payne.
Thank you.
John Kokoza, good friend of ours. Thank you, Knee Payne, for speaking out. We need more employees and Hollywood workers to stand up and speak out about this garbage they are making. And, we appreciate everybody's messages. Knee Payne, you don't have to answer or reply to anything specifically, but But we appreciate that message there from John.
A lot of people did see your video.
Yeah.
Before it did came down. So
here's a good one. Ministry of Wrongthink. Thank you for having the courage to do this. Hope you're able to do more interviews. I know people like Star Wars Theory, Drinker, WDW Pro, our good friend, and everyone else will be dying to talk to you as well if possible. Would you be open to going on any other channels and talking about your experience?
Yeah, I mean, I have to think about what I'm going to talk about, right? You definitely don't want to cross any lines, but it's also like, why can't people just say, like, yeah, I worked on this, right? And not disparage the company. Like, why can't I say, like, yeah, like this one season we worked on wasn't my favorite, right? Yeah. I'm not against talking to people. Like, I think about a lot about what I'm going to say. Like, even though it's been a long time, like, you never know how it's going to interpret, right? Maybe they have too many fires to put out right now with everything that's going on, all the bad press everywhere, and they don't care about some little ex-employee YouTuber who had an opinion, and then took his videos down 48 hours later. Listen, I love talking to people about this kind of stuff. I just feel this is a big part of my life. Even though I say I'm not a fan anymore, right? I don't subscribe. I'd be lying if I said there wasn't a part of me that felt something, right? If they released like a new series that was like, all of you were like, oh my gosh, this is amazing, what I've been asking for. Because even though I said, like, when I left the company, like, hey, I wasn't really happy and I left, like, I still liked Rogue One, right? A lot. And if something came back, right, it was just good. It was just genuinely good. I would be there in a heartbeat. I think my fan side is in a coma right now.
Yeah, you know? I think a lot of Star Wars fans. I think it's that way for a lot of Star Wars fans out there.
Sure.
The fan side's in a coma.
I just want to be a fan again, honestly. People say, like, oh, you wouldn't have worked on what, you asked me about how I was working on something that you loved. It's like, I worked with a lot of great people. Here's the thing I won't trade for. The people that work in this industry, people work in that company, there are a lot of beautiful, amazing, talented, fun people. I was very different from a lot of them. Not a lot of veterans, not a lot of people from, like, the Midwest. Mm-hmm. And, a lot of them really accepted me for being different. And then when I got, like, accepted in, like, software engineering, they liked me because I was actually different. I was exploring problems a different way. A lot of them were, college educated software engineers. So they were taking the problem from this direction. And I came in because I didn't know any better about rules. I just did what if I wanted to solve a problem. I'd come in from this direction and they'd be like, oh, we didn't think about that. Right. So they really accepted me. And I really did get accepted by a lot of people. And I will say that to this day, I have two families. I mean, I'm a little personal. I'm mostly disowned from my real family. I have two families. I have brothers that I served with in the Marine Corps. We are all different. Like, we're all connected on Facebook. And you know what? A lot of stuff they say I don't agree with, but they're my brothers. And at one time, they're for me. They would give me their last cigarette on a rainy day if it made me feel better and I had, like, a busted ankle, right? They were there for me when it mattered. And then there was my family that I was at Lucasfilm with. And I don't like to say, like, coworkers are family because, some people say, if you start calling coworkers family, it's a toxic environment. But I did build a lot of really tight friendships that I'm still close with a lot of former colleagues to this day. And I think one of them is probably going to be, like, marrying me and my partner, right? He's going to be officiating our wedding. We are very close. And I wouldn't have had that if I didn't join the company. And it's just really amazing the journey that people take to get to a company like that, to work on IP like that. I mean, some people, they grow up in the Bay Area, they don't have to move very far, but so many of us have moved from overseas, and some people can speak English very well. They left families behind, and they really sacrificed a lot to work on this.
Yeah.
And it's how do you throw out all that? It's not a regular job. It really is not. I've had regular jobs, and you wouldn't want to hear about them because they're boring. This was not a regular job. It was not a regular part of my life. And even though, like, there was days where it was a job, and I don't think I'd want to ever go back. I do cherish a lot of memories and a lot of friendships to this day. And if I can talk about that in a positive light, let's say a lot of the channels, they really kind of go on, like, kind of rage bait videos. And that's kind of where maybe I took myself down. It's like, I don't really want to be associated with that. Like, you've seen the stuff I do. I like to, hey, do this tech programming thing or do some photography, right? I'm nearly 50. I've already been in hospital twice for cardiac arrest. Life's too short to be. Yeah. Basically, it's a work environment, work myself too hard. Yeah. Life's too short to be that angry all the time. And I understand why you guys are passionate. I just don't want to, like, I don't want to get on what I call the hate train all the time and complain all the time. But I'd still love to talk to fans, because kind of talking to you kind of reminds me why I did what I did, why I made the sacrifice. Because I could have gotten a regular IT job in the state of Michigan, finished my CCNP, my network certification, just had a boring office networking job. and I had an opportunity and to do something that very few people from my town had ever done. And I want to take it. And so, yeah, I like talking. I don't know if I can answer every question publicly that they would like me to answer.
Yeah.
That's perfectly fine.
Yeah.
But, you've all been really nice to me, and the coach, the phone caller, like I was kind of nervous early, and you really
nothing to be nervous about, brother. Hey, you're home.
Yeah.
When you're here, you're home.
Yeah,
okay?
and you mentioned CCMP. That takes me back to my network engineering days.
Yeah, I was lined up to do my certification test, and then basically it was like, do you do certification?
It's tough.
Go to Skywalker Ranch.
Yeah, it's a tough cert.
Yep.
Yeah.
We got another message here from Nerdist Justin 499. Sorry I might be late. Is your original video still up? Noticed it was set to private. Is everything okay? Thanks for giving us your perspective. Well, brother, you don't even have to respond to that one because we've already kind of covered that.
Yeah.
Nerdist Justin, thank you very much for sending that one in.
Yeah.
Mike Productions to Knee. Why didn't they use the expanded universe for the sequels or the animated shows? I know Lucas considered it separate, but why is it Legends?
I wish I could answer that. It's a good question, right? There's a lot of material out there, and that makes you wonder, like, why did you go create the material you did? You had just this vast library of content you knew people already loved.
Yeah, it'd have been so easy to adapt that. Kind
of the script's already written for you. Just
exactly.
Start producing it.
Really, I mean, like copy and paste, man. People love this stuff, and these are good stories, Well,
so. And you think about business app. As Coach talked about, like making money. You want your business. You got to make money. Are you going to make money? That would be easy money, in my opinion.
Yeah, I know we talked about that with Robert Meyer Burnett. I don't know if you're familiar with him or not.
Hey, let me break in here for just 1 second, Nick, because Knee Payne actually mentioned the appendices, the documentary making the original Lord of the Rings movies.
Yeah,
some of the greatest documentary ever made. Robert Meyer Burnett was the head of the team that made those. Knee Payne. He's a personal friend of the channel.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, he actually went to Peter Jackson's house and saw the rough cut of all
of them.
He was talking specifically about the Return of the King. That he was in Peter Jackson's house in his movie theater room watching the first rough cut of it and stuff. So, but yeah, he was talking about how Disney didn't want to adapt all that stuff because they were going to have to pay licensing fees and pay a lot of these authors and writers and stuff, certain percentages and all that. And, they wanted to do their own thing, so that they could, keep all the money for all of it,
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's maybe possibly why they didn't go that route, but who knows, we're not in those boardrooms. We don't know for certain. Either way.
Yeah. I agree with you, though.
So we got another message here. Dave Long with a $10 super chat. Knee, what person is behind the decline of Lucasfilm and the franchise as a whole? Look, without question, it's declining. If you could narrow down the one person, it's the reason, I don't know if you could do that.
I don't know if I could do that. I mean, I think that's really hard because I think some of you agree with me, some would not. And I don't have the insight really at the business level.
Yeah.
Mine.
Yeah. If I had to throw my 2 cents in, ultimately, I'd put the blame on Bob Iger. I mean,
exactly.
he even came out and said himself, hey, the buck stops with me. I blame Kathleen Kennedy for a lot of these decision makings too, but Bob Iger's the one that said, hey, the buck stops with me. He's her boss.
There's nobody above him.
Yeah.
And being ex-military, right? I always believe the command, right? You're responsible for those underneath you, and you have to assume that responsibility.
Yeah. Exactly. 100%.
So yeah, from a Marine Corps perspective, yes, I would agree with that. If you're at the top, you can't claim ignorance. You're responsible. No.
Yeah.
So we got another question directly to you from Hero of Light with a $10 super chat. Mr. Payne, it's an honor to meet you. I'll ask quick, why is Kennedy still there? Star Wars is worse than ever under her. Doesn't she understand she and her band of fools are the problem? A lot of us feel exactly what Hero of Light is saying there. I don't know how or what you want to say in response to that. And you don't have to necessarily comment on that directly, my friend, but so many of us feel that way.
Yeah. No, I hear you. I think I kind of touched on this before. I understand where you're feeling that. I also understand too that people can be different types of fans, and they feel that they are doing the best thing possible because they love it in their own way. Because there's no certification to say I'm more of a fan than you are. You can't be a real fan. Anyone can claim that they're a fan if they feel it in their heart, and that's probably I think the toughest thing I have to deal with. People, they feel it in their heart, and that's why they're so have so much conviction for what they do. I think it's that's way I can answer it without like being negative or like getting myself in trouble at all. But it's just I think it's one group of fans and another group of fans, and both fans. Listen, I think I get along with most of you a lot more and see a lot more of your side. But you do. I think you do have two pools of fans against each other, and
you really do. Yeah. It's very. What's the word where there's polarizing? That's what it is. Yeah. It's very polarizing. And the fandom. It's always interesting to see where the fandom goes.
You know what I miss the fandom? The days I miss, Coach.
What's
we
that?
Don't see this anymore. It's fans sleeping outside of a movie theater for 1, 2, 3 weeks.
100%. Yes.
That's what we've lost.
Yes. Yeah.
You mean
it was an event?
It's me and Nick showing up with a cooler full of ham and cheese sandwiches and waters.
Yeah.
Waiting to get in.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And we
don't see that anymore.
Yeah, we did that for episode 1. We sat outside, for the new Star Wars, and we were excited, and we left excited, and then it kind of sank in, and we're like, oh.
That was the last time that I've seen Star Wars fans unite in a way that I thought was beautiful. Now, granted, I never slept outside the theaters.
Yeah,
couldn't do it. Just my situation, it didn't work. But I loved watching that, and we haven't seen something like that since then. And I think that's what's hurt the fandom the most. It's like, and you know what? A lot of those people came outside the theaters probably didn't agree on all the things Star Wars. They probably had different characters, by different ideas.
Yeah.
But they all camped out together in the rain. They fought their lightsabers. They were there for one reason.
Yep. Did you ever watch the Conan O'Brien special with
Triumph, the Insult
Comic Dog outside of
the
theater for
that was hilarious.
So freaking funny.
For me to poop on.
Yeah. What trivia? What substance was Han Solo frozen in? Carbonite. Sorry, wrong. The answer is who gives a shit. Which of these buttons cause your mom to pick you up? When he's talking to Darth Vader, the guy in the costume.
He's like, "What are you, a Korean guy under there?"
Yeah.
Look, we got some really nice messages to Star Wars Timeline. Thanks for the talk. I needed to hear it. I always preach balance with old and new stuff, but it's harder to like every day seeing how DLF treats fans. So thank you, Star Wars Timeline. Patrick Keenan sends in a $1.99 super chat. Simplified Devil Dog.
Thank you, Ra.
We got some more for you, my friend. One infantry vet, infantryman and vet to another. Thank you, Knee. And that is from Philip Connell with a $2 super chat. Thank you, sir.
And Philip probably understands why I call myself Knee Payne.
Yeah.
Oh, I saw some people in chat asking why you call yourself Knee Payne. I'm guessing it's because you with your military service basically blowing your knees out and stuff during the service.
I did. Here's the thing. It's like, for me, knee pain, it's multi-layer, right? I did hurt my knees, and I used to limp really bad. And, the VA was like, stay off your legs. And I got weaker. And then at one point, some doctors like, no, you need to get back out there. Like, I know it hurts, but you're making yourself weaker.
Yeah.
And you need to like start moving again. And like, I will still have knee pains, but like I got like heavy into like mountain, not quite full on mountaineering, but hiking and getting out there. And I started doing like hikes longer than I did in the Marine Corps at an older age with hard knees. But it was like, for me, it's just kind of like, my knees hurt, but I don't let it define or control my life. And I keep moving forward. At some point, I'll probably control my life. But
that's what you
right
got to
now,
do, brother.
I have to move.
Hey, you could take my boy I Am Siler's advice here. Should call himself Knee Bro.
I know where that was going.
Wow. The Droid Builder is $10 at Knee Payne. From one grumpy old vet to another, thank you for speaking out. I want you to know, man, that so much of our community appreciates you. You're new. You're new to everybody that's here, but man, they really appreciate you, brother. They really do.
Yeah.
So
thank you. I wasn't expecting any of this. I had no idea how this day was going to go.
And it's because fans for Star Wars are passionate. We would much rather be on here all on the same page, loving everything that we're getting and talking positive about it and being like, oh my God, I can't wait to the next episode. Like, this is so cool, giving our theories and talking about stuff and learning about these characters. But man, it has just been abysmal. And it's just like, you just can't put your head in the sand anymore at this point and try to defend any of this because we love it so much. We're out here. We want our voice to be heard, and we want everybody in the chat and all the other Star Wars fans out there voices to be heard. And we want Disney and Lucasfilm to hear all these voices and course correct. We want them to give us good Star Wars so we can talk positive about it. Me and Coach just watched the first episode of House of the Dragon season 2 last night, and we very well done. Good start to the season 2.
I went to the theater a few months ago and watched Dune Part 2, Knee Payne, one of the greatest sci-fi movies I've ever seen. That's what we want.
Yeah, no, if you
I'll be right back,
sit around, no problem. So it's about 2010 to about 2013 we did this. When I came out to California, a childhood friend of mine was still in the Marine Corps stationed down by LA. And we got back in touch, over social media. And he was a diehard Star Wars fan. His mom had told him, because from a small town, my mom knew his dad. And so he got a hold of me. He's like, I can't believe it. You need to come down and visit me. He goes, hey, me and some diehard Star Wars friends down here, we have what we do every summer we call Star Wars Beer Fest. You need to come down for this, right? And so basically it'd start in the morning and they would just drink beer all day and watch all Star Wars all day.
Oh, I would love to do that.
And these guys were hardcore. It's like, and so these things don't go on anymore. It's like, I really miss that because we went down and I told them some stories, but I think we just had fun. We quoted Star Wars. We drank tons of beer. I think we drank a lot more during the prequels. That was kind of the fun part. It was like, try not to get too tanked through the prequels. It was a lot of fun, but things I don't see people doing things like that. That was truly just like, hey, we are a bunch of Star Wars nerds, and they, like you guys, they welcomed me in, and it was a load of fun. And we did it every single year until my friend got restationed, and then people kind of moved away. But I don't know. It's like I don't see that now. People are like online, like just kind of mad, like I like this. Oh well, I don't like you because you don't like that. And it's like, come on, like is it really worth that? Like, I just don't. I didn't see fans for a long time until recently, finally getting behind something. But it kind of, I think maybe looking back, Coach, it's one thing that kind of broke my heart a little bit as I started just seeing the fan base divide. They no longer just had that I think smaller cliques of that diehard love of let's just get together. We'll love the good and the bad of it. Even when Jar Jar Binks, we had a thing every time Jar Jar Binks came on the screen, we all took a drink. You had to have a fresh beer for Jar Jar Binks screen. So some of those episodes, we would get really, really you were getting it on pretty hard.
That's a very unfortunate thing about Star Wars fandom is that people take things personally. Since Nick and I started this channel, we're like, hey, if you like what they're coming out with, that's awesome. We're happy for you. But here's what we think. And if we're going to accept your thoughts and feelings and opinions, would you please accept ours as well? That's what we're missing right now in the conversation. Yeah. They draw a line in the sand, or there's a line drawn, and it's like, you're my enemy if you're on the other side. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. The personal attacks is ridiculous. It really is. Now, but I got to say what it is. Just because they're making really bad Star Wars for the fans right now, Knee Payne, brother, The Acolyte is at 15%.
I know.
Audience reviews right now. And it's dropping. It's going to go even lower, I think. You know, the fans are unhappy, and I hope that they listen to that.
Like, there's part of me that kind of laughs at the train wreck. It's made for some interesting commentary by some of the YouTubers, but there's a part of me that it makes like this was a part of my life. I don't like seeing that because I when I look at it, I just don't think of the franchise. I was there, so I think of all the people that their jobs rely on these shows being successful.
Absolutely.
And I definitely see the bigger picture of it.
Well, I'm seeing in chat right now, they're saying that it's dropped down to even, no, it's still at 15%. I saw somebody say 14%.
Yeah,
it's at 15%, but we're in such a place right now where every time it goes down a point, we're like, yes, it's dropped another point, you know?
And that's kind of depressing. Like, you know, it really is.
It's depressing, but it's also fun.
Yeah. It's sad that's where the community's at right now. We can only enjoy the failure.
Yeah. But the best thing, bro, and this is what we say to people all the time is, you know, I could always go into my living room right now, pop in Empire, A New Hope, Jedi, you know, Revenge of the Sith, whatever it is.
Yes.
And go right back there. And it's like watching it all over again for the first time. Nobody can take away what I love. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. No, if we were over and you popped in an old movie, one of the older ones, I would sit down with you and watch it. I'd probably be a fan all over again.
Absolutely.
I just haven't seen it.
We've got a really good message here from my brother Matt DeWeen, who's a channel member and a personal friend of mine. $5 super chat. Just going to thank Knee Payne for his time tonight. Really enjoyed the conversation.
Thank you.
And we appreciate that, Matt Cave, very much. Let's see. We got another chat here from Iron. Knee, thanks for opening up. Army vet here. I understand and appreciate your take on staying independent and being grouped with rage baiters. You know, I don't think we're rage baiters. We're authentic reactors is what we are. If it's good, it's good. If it's bad, we're going to say it's bad. That's what it is.
Yeah.
So, one infantryman and vet to another. Thank you, Knee. Philip Connell. I don't know if I might have already showed.
I think so. Okay. Well, thanks again, Philip.
Yeah, for real. Oh, here we go. Melodious with a $10 super chat. Knee, thoughts on Darth Jar Jar? Thanks for coming over for the fandom. And look, here's the thing. Let's just take a moment, chat. We still got 2,750 people here tonight.
Wow.
Everybody thank Knee Payne for coming out and joining us tonight, please. Like, just drop him a thank you in chat. Let him know that you appreciate it very much. Like, the fandom is behind you and supporting you, my friend. They really are.
Thank you. Thank you.
So, thoughts on Darth Jar Jar?
So, I only have his thoughts. Like, I don't know anything official, but that would have been cool. I don't know. I think it would just been like a huge, like, trolling twist on Jar Jar. I'm like, dang. You know, and all criticism aside, I do appreciate when I see they brought that actor back to play as a Jedi for one episode, because he did take a lot of abuse. And when you look at like you know, having a Jake Lloyd and things like that. So, even though I didn't watch that episode, when I'm, you know, people are posting that clip of him coming, Ahmed Best coming back as a Jedi, I was like, I did, you know, if I could have seen like Dave or whatever, I would have thanked him for that. It's like, definitely, whoever's responsible for doing that, thank you. I think it's hard to see, because you do a fandom. I'm sure Ahmed was just kind of like, oh, this is my chance, and then have that blow up in his face the way it did. He's probably a nice guy.
I'm sure he is. Yeah, you know, and I would say that with Ahmad Best and Jake Lloyd and Kelly Marie Tran, I would say that the majority of the Star Wars fandom, though they may not have liked their character, it was never personal with that individual. Yeah. It was about the character and the movie, not about them as a singular individual. Never personal. If it's personal, that's going too far. That's going too far.
Oh no, 100%. I always kind of feel bad when I see like new actors, like Ewan McGregor, right? He could, if things didn't work out, he's Ewan McGregor. He already had like reputation. He could survive this. I always kind of felt bad seeing like these new actors come in, because like if this doesn't work out, this is going to ruin them. Like even Christian, right? It's like a lot of these guys they struggled afterwards. And I think maybe if I had to have one critique of Star Wars was like be mindful of the young talent, because they're basing their entire career and future jobs off what you're doing.
Yeah.
And then their whole dream come true, and to watch it just cave out underneath them. I mean, to read like what happened to Jake Lloyd in the past few years, that's absolutely just heartbreaking.
Yes.
I feel so bad the jokes that I made back then, right? And I think maybe that's one thing I wish they would just focus on, maybe experienced talent that could survive the fandom when things don't work out, because the fandom can be rough on people, and new actors are not prepared for that.
Yeah. Yep. I'm totally with you. And the thing about, one bad job can destroy your resume.
Yeah.
And I feel terrible for the two little girls that are in the Acolyte.
Yes.
It's nothing personal against them, but it's just not good. And I feel bad.
And it's not their fault.
It's not their fault at all. It's not personal against them. Those two little young ladies, nothing's personal against them. We got some other messages that are really good. Hi, Knee.
Sure.
Can clearly hear your passion for Star Wars. Something I'm curious about, was the reported Star Wars fatigue around Solo's release a way to disguise negative feedback from shareholders? I don't know if your clearance card covers that, my man, but that's a big one.
Well, I will say, knowing people that worked in marketing, there is such thing as IP fatigue. You can overdo it and wear people out. That is a real thing.
Yeah.
And you have to be careful how much you expose to the market and how quickly. And then when you do expose it, it better not flop.
Yeah.
You better give them something they're going to love, because rightfully so, they probably won't forgive you.
Yeah.
And Solo lost so much money. Oh man, they lost all kinds of money on that movie.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. Yeah. Debbie Young, one of our cornerstones.
She's been very nice to me. Yeah.
Oh,
she's very sweet lady.
Best.
Yeah, she was on early in the chat. She's being very nice to me.
She sent me a package today. Got like a Darth Vader rubber ducky in it. That's my surrogate mother right there. I appreciate Debbie very much. Thank you for trusting us enough to come here. This has been very lifting for my broken heart over Star Wars. Love you. She's the
Deborah.
Best. So thank you, Debbie. Star Wars Timeline sends in the super chat. Mr. Knee, I talked to Troy Denning, one of the EU authors, today. Did you ever hear about a book, authors, or how EU ideas were developed? Read any books.
Probably
read any books. Yeah. Thank you, Nick.
No, I'll be honest with you. Like, if I was to get on a call with, like, was it Ryan Cannell, who he's like really good at the EU, he'd probably do circles around me.
He knows the EU, no doubt.
I was a different kind of fan. I wanted to work on it, but I didn't memorize all the IP. So you guys could probably smoke me on knowledge.
Ryan's more knowledgeable on that stuff than we are.
The EU. Yeah, he is.
On the EU stuff.
He's a nerd for real. We love him though.
Yeah. Yep. He's a friend of the channel, and we've supported him since he first started coming around.
Oh, absolutely. He's one of the best.
Yeah, the last books I read, what was the Nintendo 64 Star Wars game?
Shadows of the Empire.
Yes.
Yeah, me and Coach played the crap out of that game.
I've read the book as well.
We used to play that when we were locked down in barracks, in trouble for getting in trouble.
Yeah.
So we played Shadows of the Empire in the barracks all the time. But I remember reading those books. I thought the books were amazing. So
yes,
I don't read books very often. I'm very very busy, so I don't have much time. But I do remember reading those.
Yep, very good. Harmonic Shredder sends in a super chat here for $10. Knee Payne, who is your favorite Jedi?
That's a really good question.
While he's thinking about it, I'll name mine. While he's thinking about it, I'll name mine. Luke Skywalker.
Yeah.
Luke Skywalker is my favorite.
I should have wore a Star Wars shirt tonight. I'm all Ninja Turtled out. I got the wrong kind of shirt on.
Yeah, it almost feels too generic. Here's the thing I didn't like about Star Wars. We got a little exposure to other Jedis in Clone Wars. I never really felt like we really got to learn about other amazing Jedis. Like, I want to say like Luke, or even like Obi-Wan. Maybe if I say one, maybe it's Obi-Wan. But I feel kind of limited because, like, There's another thing. If I was in charge, I'd go back and talk about more of the Jedis that were in the Jedi Order. If I was to do movies, focus on other parts of the Jedi Order. It's like I want to focus on other parts of the troops, right? I'm sure there was other Jedis, and I think Clone Wars kind of touched on that a little bit. Like, the guy with I can't remember.
Plo Koon.
Name. Plo Koon. I thought he was kind of cool. You know, we kind of touched. I remember we did episodes that touched on him, and I just really felt like there's so much more interesting Jedis that could have interesting stories.
Yeah.
And it feels too like, well, it's like here's like, you know, Mace Windu and, you know, Luke Skywalker and Obi-Wan picked from that small pool of ones we actually really know well, unless you study the EU heavily.
Well, I got to say, Ayala Secura, played by the gorgeous Amy Allen. I'm whispering now so I don't get in trouble. She will be an icon, and I'm very excited about that. Like, oh my gosh, she's amazing. And
so Icon is the convention in Nashville. Fan convention that's primarily Star Wars, but they have a lot of other stuff there. And that's where we basically do our fan meetup every single year, where a lot of our subscribers and people will come out, and we'll all get together and hang out and, you know, drink and have fun and talk and, you know, just meet
Star Wars celebrities. Julian Glover.
Yeah, Julian Glover.
General Veers from Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah, we were sitting there drinking with him out on the patio.
Yeah. Anthony Daniels, William Shatner.
Yep.
Like, it's a great, great thing for fans to go experience for sure. Knee Payne, we got another message here. They just censored Star Wars Theories video. Spread the word. Unite. Knee Payne, thank you for your videos, your opinion, and your service. God bless you. And echo-based cheers. Thank you, brother.
Thank you.
I think that's all of the super chats directed at you specifically. I'm not going to make you sit here and listen to all that and everything.
That's okay. This was weird. Honestly, you know, like you just asked me like an hour. I don't know if we've been on for an hour and a half now or 2 hours now, but
you were like, I'll be around for 15 or 20 minutes. Let's do this.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
and then I was talking to her. She was like, "What do you got going on?" I was like, "Well, I'm gonna like do a little interview, talk to some guys online." She's like, "Okay, I'm gonna take the kids." I was like, well, "Okay, I guess I have some time tonight." So to the audience, like there was really no prep work for this. This was complete. I don't know what you had.
It was last minute. We were just jumping on. I do got a question for you. What things are you what forms of entertainment and stuff are you enjoying right now? Like what are you watching? What shows or movies and stuff are you into watching right now or looking forward to coming out?
So coming out, I don't know what's new, to be honest. I haven't paid that much attention now what I've been doing, because I was so caught up in the industry, right, and that IP for so long. I didn't really pay attention to what else is out there. I've actually been watching shows that came out a while ago. Like right now, I'm halfway through The Strain. Really, I didn't see when it came out. I'd only like recently. I've seen some like clips on like YouTube, and someone commented like, "Oh, The Strain was a good show" or whatever, and I was like, "Really?" And I'd see it on Hulu. I'm like, "Why did I never see this before?" And so I'm realizing there's a lot of shows, because I was so buried in the job and one type of IP for so long. Now I'm just kind of stepping back, and someone just mentioned Battlestar Galactica 2004.
Fantastic.
I love the first 2-3 seasons. I took 2 seasons. I think 3 was weird. I kind of like the end battle, though. I think Battlestar Galactica, I think we all agree it may end a little bit weird. But I think that final battle is pretty epic.
I only watched it one time through, but James Edward Olmos as Adama was fantastic.
Yeah, there was. I think it was season 2 when they were half the colony was captured by silence on the planet, and they did a rescue operation, and that was probably one of the best episodes I've ever seen, where they dropped like right into the atmosphere, launched the ships, and then he just jumped out like sub-atmosphere, and it was just such a really like inventive show. And so I've been kind of going back enjoying older stuff, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean I still watch reruns of Star Trek Deep Space Nine. Because it was probably it's probably my favorite Star Trek series of all time. So a lot of the old stuff like that. I mean, I still watch reruns of a lot of that stuff. Are you a big Star Trek fan? Did you like Star Trek growing up? Did you get into it a lot?
Yeah. I really did. I think I was a bigger Stargate SG-1 fan. Really huge. Really love that whole series. But yeah, I liked a lot of Star Trek shows. I thought they were great. I mean, honestly, I was never really. I think I was probably more of a Star Wars fan, but I was never like Star Wars versus Trekkie. Like I think I can appreciate all of it.
Well, yeah, here's what I got to know. Give me your 2 favorite cartoons ever, and this is going to determine whether or not we could really be friends.
Okay, 2 favorite cartoons ever. I will start probably the first one that inspired me for animation. I remember watching it when in Elizabeth City, North Carolina. I was a little boy. My dad was stationed there. It was The Secret of Nim.
Ooh,
and years later, I got to work with the layout artist that worked with Don Bluth, Secret of Nim, and I even did my own kind of Secret of Nim like fantasy video. I kind of looking back, like the cartoon was flawed in many ways story wise, but still, like as a young boy, the colors and the sparkling, it just
and it had some scary scenes, man.
Yeah. Yes, it very much did. And I think going back to I'm looking back at old 2D animation, The Land Before Time.
Okay. Oh God, I loved that series. My dad took me to the theater to see that because I loved dinosaurs growing up. Like I wanted to be a paleontologist when I got older. Yeah, and I love dinosaurs, all that. So when Jurassic Park came out, I was just like blown away. Which Lucasfilm, had a big part in.
I am very biased, my friends.
I was a poor kid. I had GoBots.
Okay, GoBots is cool.
My parents are poor. I got GoBots.
Yeah.
Generic Transformers. It's all good.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed the cartoons. Does it matter?
Yeah.
Yeah. Very true. Very true. Love it. Love it. Love it. Yes, sir. Well, so these past 24 hours have probably been pretty crazy for you, brother.
Yeah, it was. I'm in meetings at work, right? Coming back, I was just really busy at work and just see the stuff. And it was a point I was like, I don't know what the F is going on. So I'm just going to just select all, hit private until I figure out what's going on. Like, yeah. I don't know. I should have not been so naive. I should have made the algorithm would have picked up, what I was talking about. But I think I've commented on videos before. Like I've done my own reactions to some of the various videos by big YouTubers, and they got like 20 views.
Yeah.
Right. I just was like, the algorithm hates me. I don't really care. I do this for fun. And so I just was not. This is still surreal. Like to be on the other side of Super Chats because I've watched some live streams. I'm like, I didn't know what it looked like on the side. Now I do, and it's
Well, I'm going to tell you.
Thanks for inviting me.
Yeah. And the thing is, like a lot of the people you were reacting to, like Snarky J, who we've had on the channel, a lot of the Geeks and Gamers, people, Drunk 3PO, all those people, that we've had on here that we've known for years. Hell, our biggest live stream ever was, Star Wars Theory, Gary from Nerdrotic, the Geeks and Gamers crew, Ron Kimmel,
Robert Meyer Burnett, Geeks and Gamers, everybody.
Yeah, I mean it was huge, and it was great conversation, and the thing
we
about
were united. We were all united.
Yeah, we were all united.
And a lot of those YouTubers don't even like each other.
Yeah, a lot of them don't even like each other now. They all kind of ended up eventually going their own ways. But I look forward to the day, if it ever comes, that the Star Wars fandom can all be back on the same page on the positive side of things, and really like what we're getting from them. But for me, I've always said it, under the current management and the current regime, I personally don't see it ever getting any better. For me, I hope it burns to the ground and they are forced to sell it and somebody else gets it and actually gets people in there that really understand the fandom, understand the lore, and actually give something that everybody can be united behind and actually like, because the people that are still liking this stuff, they're going to like anything Star Wars, no matter what it is, and so even if they come out with stuff that even we like, they're still going to also like it as well. And so, hopefully that day will come and at some point in time, and Star Wars won't be dead forever, because, it's a big part of my childhood, and I'd like to see it revived and everybody, really enjoying it.
I will say that like looking back, I remember being so mad that Fireflies canceled after season 1. Like, oh, that's
so many people were pissed about that Fireflies. Yeah,
I'm actually happy. Imagine if Firefly lasted 20 plus years and it was still around, and we start experiencing the same thing that's upsetting fans of Star Wars.
Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah. Yep,
that's true. Well said. Well, brother, we got 34 more messages to go through. You are welcome to stay as long as you want to.
But if you got to bounce, you know, feel free to bounce out. Me and Coach
bring up some. Go ahead. I mean, I'm still
all
here.
Right, let's do
this has been interesting. I don't. I said I can't really answer all questions. I wish I could
like we already said, you're at home here, and we really appreciate it, and the fans love you. And I'm going to say this before I start highlighting these chats. If you bring back some of your videos and you start making content, you're going to have an audience. You have some expertise that people would love to hear about.
Yeah, our good friend Valiant Renegade was really interested in a lot of your camera review stuff, and
Matt Cave was as well.
Yeah, and so was Matt Cave.
Yep. They both were commenting about your camera videos and other things. Like you could do some stuff there that would be awesome for viewers. So that's something for you to consider, you know, if that's
that's why I did that channel. I just like just sharing things, right? And I think you've watched some of my videos. I'd actually say at the end, I was like, hey, don't subscribe, don't click the like button, please donate to a local animal shelter. Like, I'm just doing this for fun.
Yeah. Yep, absolutely. Debbie Young, we love you. She gifted 5 Echo Base Network memberships. Thank you so much, Debbie. Okay. She did that a long time ago. We appreciate it. Mexican Iron Man also gifted 5 Echo Base Network memberships. One of our very best friends. We love him so much.
Yep. Love Mexican
Rod
Iron.
Jedi has become a new YouTube member. Thank you, Rod. We appreciate you. Welcome to the EBN family. Jedi Master Lawrence, hashtag cancel Disney Plus, hashtag Duck Fisney. Thank you, Jedi Master Lawrence. You're the best. Mark Maganya. Mark Maganya. Youngstown, Ohio doesn't have good Mexican food. Well, thank you, Mark. I hope you can go somewhere that has some good food. Graph Web, hashtag cancel Disney Plus, $2. The most consistent man on YouTube. Thank you so much, Graph Web. We appreciate you. We also have various crazy people with a $10 super chat. I heard the next episode, a new robot called LGBTQLMNOP plus, who will have all the pronouns and immediately create an offspring air fryer
named R2 Me Too. Oh man!
Oh, that was worth staying on for.
That was brilliant. Named R2 Me Too.
Can I pay back to them? That was brilliant.
Oh, that was so funny. My head's about to blow up. My head is about to explode. People. Oh my gosh! Thank you, various crazy people.
The internet. That was the internet.
That was crazy. Yeah. Rod Wrestle with a $2 super chat. Thank you very much, Rod. We appreciate that. That Park Place, good friends of ours. Up? WDW Pro, Lorne Connor, Jonas J. Campbell, all the boys over there. Valiant Renegade. Love our friends.
John F. Trent.
I know for a fact, Jonas has already sent me a text saying that he and Lorne Connor would love to have you over at that Park Place. Very good, humble guys. Not quite really as good as me and Nick, but they're right below us.
They're almost right where we're at. Just right below us.
I'm not too keen on all the Star Wars communities, but I am familiar with the name.
Yeah. They have extended an invitation to you, saying they would love to have you come by. So just know that, my friend. We can talk later.
All right.
That Park Place, the power of many angry fans who want to know what in the world happened. Thanks for being here on EBN tonight. Thank you, Jonas.
Folks at that Park Place.
Rick Carrera, the power of many compels us, and Mexican Iron Man is a YouTuber. Thank you, Rick.
It's a kind of going inside joke of Mexican Iron Man being like, I'm not a YouTuber, and everybody's like, yes, you are.
100%. The Saviors 007 has joined our member family. Thank you so much, friend. Tony White has gifted 1 Echo Base Network membership. Tony, we hope to see you at Icon.
Good
Appreciate you,
Tony
brother.
White.
Thank you so
Great
much.
Guy.
Al Simmons, Hellspawn. The old EU Star Wars lore is far more interesting, well-written, compelling than Disney's soulless, generic, poorly written, inconsistent, continuity-breaking Star Wars. Dave Filoni is an overrated and a hack. Amen. I was
agree.
somebody who was like, hey, I think I believe in Dave Filoni. I think everything's going to be fine. The true test of Dave Filoni is when the Ahsoka show aired, didn't go well. Filoni.
It was his first live action show, and
come on, Dave. But he does great in the animated spaces. Got to give him his credit there. But stay out of live action, Dave. Maybe you need to go back to your old role. I don't know.
I remember I saw some like clips of like and not like I guess she's getting older. Like the fight scenes kind of moving kind of slow and didn't really move well. And I think what I had a hard time with the Ahsoka series, they brought in like the live action version of the Rebels crew, and that for me was just I didn't really feel it. Like I'd watched them in dailies.
I didn't either. Yeah,
and
same.
Well, it's so funny that you say that about she's getting older and all that, because we made a little video about that very thing, Knee Payne, and this is for all of your super chats so far, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be back in like 15 seconds.
Yang, where are you?
I am above your position.
And I don't want to knock on the actress. I understand get old, get slower, but it's like I just remember.
Yeah, and we love Rosario Dawson.
Love her.
Yes,
love her.
I didn't like seeing like listen. I'm not against people that show the clips. That's what was put on air. It was really when you see that, it's like that's not the Ahsoka I remember. Right? I watched the Clone Wars. Granted, as a younger character. I think more off-putting for me was just like the Rebels characters didn't feel like the Rebels characters I knew. And I'm not going to. Some people might like them, some people might hate them. They just don't feel like what I remember, so I wasn't compelled to go back and watch it.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Absolutely, brother. Apple de la Fuente questions: was Lucas ever really considering Knights of the Old Republic and explored Darth Revan storylines? I have no idea.
Did you ever hear anything about that, Knee Payne?
You would have to find someone who was sitting in the conference rooms of Skywalker Ranch to know that.
Above our key card doesn't go there, Apple, but we appreciate it, brother.
Yeah, I did see somebody in chat earlier ask on your thoughts on Jon Favreau. Who kind of got Mandalorian kicked off. Any just general quick thoughts on him? I know you weren't there when he kind of came in and started doing Star Wars stuff, but
my only thought is I would love to see. I had the conversation with somebody. It's like I would love to see just really awesome directors come in, like Brad Bird or something like that, and do some series. People maybe that they aren't fans, right? I don't think you have to be a fan of Star Wars. I saw on Geeks and Gamers stream, some people are like the fans have to save Star Wars. I was like, well, you have to, like I said earlier, some people you don't like that the content they're making, they believe they are fans. I don't think fans are the solution. I kind of honestly are moving more towards I think we need to get good storytellers. Right? If it's like Brad Bird, I'm not like, okay, I got to admit, a Christopher Nolan Star Wars would be kind of interesting.
I love Christopher Nolan. Well, Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers is a huge Christopher Nolan fan.
Yeah, my thing, it was they talk about people they bring him in I was a huge fan of the series. I think I watched some of the interviews. I couldn't wait to do it. It's like I don't know if I want a fan. I think I just want someone who's just a good director.
I would be totally down with Denis Villeneuve or Joseph Kosinski to come in and do a Star Wars project.
Oh yes.
And I would be down with the creators of Cobra Kai to come in too and do Star Wars as well.
I think there's a lot of amazing talent out there. They don't have to be huge fans.
Yep. Well said, my friend. Nick Allen with a $5 super chat. Aren't NDAs against the law? Freedom of speech and all that. The censorship epidemic is a problem. I think he probably sent that just assuming that you took down your videos because of NDAs. You took your videos down because of the wild comments and attention that you started getting while you were trying to do your work day, and you were like, I'm just going to end it all right now. And, it had nothing to do with an NDA.
But you did have to sign NDAs, right?
I mean, we all signed NDAs when we joined. Definitely. There was nothing new signed when I left. I mean, every company's got an NDA to some extent, and they all have different policies. So, yeah, I said you watched the original video. I was trying to be too vague, but maybe I got a little too specific in some places. So I realized that, and I was like, maybe I crossed the line. You know, that's part of the reason I took it down too. It's like I'd love to be able to talk openly. Like, yeah, I was there. Why shouldn't I? Why shouldn't anyone talk about where they're at? Right? That's not classified. Even people who went through like Navy SEAL training, Navy SEAL graduates is not classified.
Yeah.
Right. Why would it be classified if you worked at Lucasfilm? So
yeah.
Well said. We put it on our resumes. We have to talk about in interviews for jobs. So, but I need to be mindful of what I say, not try to disparage the company.
Yeah.
And right when I said earlier, Filoni, I get why you're not unhappy with him sometimes, but I've also seen like the incredible side of him creatively, and I still think there's something there. And
good, absolutely. That's one thing we got to keep in mind is like, even though we're critical, he has done some really good things. So we got to, we got to be honest to that. So not happy with him right now, but yeah, it doesn't take away from the things that he's done well in the past. I've always said, as far as Dave Filoni goes, he succeeds in the animated spaces. So far, he's not in the live action at all.
Yeah, that last season of the Clone Wars, those last 4
some
episodes
of the best Star Wars we've gotten
were great.
It was definitely.
Yep. So thank you, Nick, for sending that in. Dave Long, I was in the movie theater in 1977 when I saw the original Star Wars. So Knee can elaborate on how the franchise declined after the purchase by Disney.
I mean, did it decline? Was it really doing that great? I mean, we had Clone Wars, right? But was it really like?
It was more of the EU and the video games and stuff at the time.
I will say this. Okay. Hopefully I don't get in trouble for saying this. Was there really a lot coming out back then? It seemed like we were just kind of doing Clone Wars. There's nothing Star Wars coming out.
Yeah.
And
books and video games and the Clone Wars, and that's about it. But the video games and stuff were great. Knights of the Old Republic, Force Unleashed.
Oh, absolutely. It was holding the Star Wars franchise
Dark
up,
Forces,
keeping it relevant.
Series. Yeah.
Here's the thing. I think that at some point, fans unfortunately got what they asked for. Is they asked for more, and someone to start churning out more.
Yeah.
We became maybe a little too open, a little too broad.
When Disney took over, were you surprised that they basically completely disbanded LucasArts Gaming?
That was, yes.
I mean, I was pissed when they did that. I couldn't believe it.
I had friends that were in there, and I just remember when I saw them after they had like a division meeting, and I kind of figured if that was one division that would keep going, and I was like, hey, I figured maybe they downsized or something like that, and he just said, all of us. It's like,
all? I mean, they had projects in the works. That Star Wars 1313 game, people were excited and looking forward to that.
That's why all of us were just like, that one will go. They'll at least finish that, right? And so that was definitely a shock. Yeah.
I actually have the book, The History of LucasArts. It's like, man, you can't even buy it today for like less than $200. I've got an original copy of it. It's heartbreaking looking back, because that company was the gold standard of entertainment as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
LucasArts was Star Wars throughout the 90s.
Yeah. One of my favorite games of all time was the TIE Fighter game, Grand Admiral Thrawn's first iteration in media outside of the books, with that story, of the pilots and the soldiers between Empire and Return of the Jedi, from the Empire's perspective, and oh God, it was so well done, so well written. Absolutely loved that TIE Fighter series.
Yep. You can get it today in VR.
Yeah. Yep. And we had the guy who redid that, the TIE Fighter Total Conversion on the channel, and he was on here talking about it.
Great friend of our channel, personal friend of ours, Valiant Renegade with a $20 super chat. Love our brother. Amazon may have paid $250 million just to use the name Lord of the Rings, but Disney spent $4 billion to buy Lucasfilm Star Wars, but inexplicably decided to use only the name Star Wars. That's how stupid they are. Great.
Yeah,
YouTuber.
It makes no sense to me.
Yeah.
I'm like, you pay all this money for that, and literally you make generic sci-fi and slap the Star Wars name on it. Like it doesn't make sense to me. I don't get it.
We appreciate our bro. Star Wars Timeline, $5. Thanks for the talk. I needed to hear it. I always preach balance with the old and new stuff, but it's harder to like every day seeing how DLF treats fans. Thank you, Star Wars Timeline. Frosty with $2. White Gibral are ruining everything. Thank you, bro. Appreciate it very much. Omega Supreme with cheese. That's a Transformers name if I've ever heard one. Iger took the company woke to set up his eventual POTUS run as a business-minded Democrat in an attempt to win left and right over. We'll see. I don't know. Did you know that Bob Iger was married to Willow Bay? She was a fox back in the day. Just gonna say that. She was the host of NBA Inside Stuff on Saturday morning. Y'all probably Knee Payne. I'm a former basketball coach, and I loved me some basketball, just like Star Wars. Yeah. So, Chris Moore, $5. Echo Base Network to the panel. What do you think about the Star Wars video games?
Current ones, I think they have been trash.
On release, they've not been well, but they've been fixing them over time, like the last Battlefront games.
Oh, the Battlefront game they fixed eventually. Yeah. But that Star Wars Squadrons that was coming out, like me and Coach were 100% on board. We were hyping that game up.
I bought a $1,000 VR set for that.
Yeah. Like we could not wait for that to come out. And it was awful. So bad. Awful. So bad.
It was the Acolyte video game.
Yeah. And like I had to force myself just to get through the story part of it. I was just like,
I couldn't do it.
Terrible.
Uninstall.
Terrible.
Done.
Yeah.
Uninstall, clean the registry.
Yeah. I would never play it again. Yeah. But I will tell you this. I think it was either the first Battlefront or the second Battlefront game by EA that came out that had the X-Wing VR mission. Coach, when you were at my house, you played it.
Great.
It was one of the best Star Wars video game experiences I've ever had. Getting in the cockpit of an X-Wing in VR, going out, doing a mission, being able to like poke your head out the side of the window and like look down, look behind you.
Yeah.
All the buttons in the cockpit worked. You could look and, click stuff. It was so cool. And that's why I was so excited for Squadrons, because I thought it was going to be like that. Nothing.
The first Battlefront was some of the most fun I've had playing video games ever.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
It was just mindless fun, just shooting or running around, feeling like
Battlefront 2004 or 2015 or whatever it was.
I think 04. It was 04.
Okay, yes.
Oh yeah, the original. Yeah,
and they just did a remaster of that, by the way, on Steam.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, on Steam. Yep.
Wow. Current graphics, like big upgrades, like it's out.
Yep.
I should check that out.
Came out a couple months ago. Very good.
Yeah.
Let's see. Chris Moore. Oh, we just hit that one. Thank you, Chris. Kenny, this is a sick and twisted self-insert of forehead headland. Thanks, Mr. H Review of the Solo Twins, Jason and Jana Solo. Thank you, Kenny. We appreciate that very much. Yeah. Various crazy people with a $5 super chat. There is a lot of hate because of the product. When Luke showed up in The Mandalorian, everyone celebrated. You going to not read my R2 Me Too joke?
He did.
Oh, I read it.
Yeah, we read it.
I read it. You about killed me. You about killed me. It was great. Thank you, bro. Matt with a $2 super chat. I used to be addicted to soap, but I'm clean now. Thank you, Matt. We're glad that you're clean. We're glad that you're clean. Congratulations. The Darker Depths with a $10 super chat. The Acolyte had angered me so much that I've decided to now dedicate every fiber of my being to making lore-accurate Star Wars content, starting with a KOTOR series through Unreal 5. That's amazing. Keep doing that.
Keep us informed.
Make sure you tag us on that. We want to watch it and promote it. That's amazing. Nothing is better than Star Wars fan projects. Nothing.
Yeah, I love Star Wars fan projects.
I really hope they can keep going. And so I'm looking no inside knowledge, but I know a lot of people like all the fan projects are going to say things. So I was like, well, I've seen fan projects get cease and desist, not in Star Wars, but like other IPs. So, you know, so again, I don't want to deter these people. I definitely do it. I hope you can do it.
Yeah,
absolutely.
That's the thing. When before Disney bought it, George was really open to people doing a lot of that stuff. He was very open about that. And when Disney got it, man, they put the axe down on that. Do you have any inside knowledge or know why they did that and why they kind of went against fans being creative like that?
Well, it's not just going against fans. I think traditionally that's what Disney's always been. Like you have for stories of like nurseries, like care facilities caring for little kids. They would draw like Mickey Mouse on the wall and they would get in trouble for it, something like that. Like Disney's always been super aggressive in protecting everything they own. And taking away from people. And that's why with the fan films, right? It's like these are different days. Like, George days, they always did seem like really entertained by what the fans would make. And I don't have any inside knowledge, but I just don't. Disney is definitely a lot more aggressive and they're a lot different about their IP. So
I remember George still owned it when Family Guy did the Star Wars trilogy. Family Guy, did you see those?
Yeah.
Oh,
those were hilarious,
man.
Yes.
I was rolling watching those, which those are up on our Patreon page if you guys have not seen them. Very well done. Love the Family Guy Star Wars trilogy. It was hilarious.
That was brilliant.
Yeah.
Thank you, Darker Depths. We appreciate that, brother, very much. The Droid Builders with $5. Character and writing at times. It had nothing to do with the actors themselves. These people work hard and pour their hearts into their craft.
Yeah.
Amen,
and
brother.
Same thing with all the production people and the crew and the people behind the scenes. Yeah, all those people. Like, there's no hate for any of those people in this. Our hate falls on the writers, the creators, the people in charge.
It's never personal.
Yeah.
We're talking about writing and story and sometimes production. But but even when the story is bad, a lot of times Star Wars still looks good because it's Star Wars. You know?
Yeah, even if you feel like an episode wasn't great, they're probably like things you can cut out of it. Like, oh, this scene was awesome and this scene was awesome.
Yeah. I mean, there was one of our subscribers that was like, "Hey, I want to see you guys do a video on." I think it was like top 5 favorite things about The Last Jedi, which was really hard to do. But John Williams' music. I mean, I like Rey's theme.
All the music is good.
John Williams did a great job. A lot of the production, set design stuff, the cinematography, a lot of that stuff looked really great. A lot of the CGI stuff looked good. It was all about the story that they were telling and the character development and the way they portrayed the characters. Yeah. When we walked in The Last Jedi, we were pumped. And then as soon as Luke got that lightsaber and just tossed it over his shoulder, we're like, what?
Yeah.
And here we are.
Yeah.
It's been downhill
if
ever
you just
since.
hit rewind, be like, did I just see that?
Oh,
yeah,
my goodness.
exactly.
What a
it was
decision.
so strange.
I'll say one thing.
Luke Skywalker wouldn't have done that. And Mark Hamill, he came out and spoke out against Disney in Star Wars, and until they probably told him to be quiet, and he's kind of shut up after his last rant about it. But
we got a lot of comments from Mark Hamill not digging it at all.
Yeah. Which speaking of, did you ever see any of the original cast around out at Skywalker Ranch, or any of the actors, actresses, or any of that?
So Chewbacca himself, Peter Mayhew, was one of our guest speakers one time.
Peter Mayhew?
A very nice guy. I mean, I think he's got like a pre-memorized speech he always gives when he does presentations and speeches. Kind of goes through a script, but it was always entertaining. Ran into Warwick Davis, just surprised, kind of around the corner, and
I've met him before.
Looked down real quick, and him and his wife was like, "Oh, hi!" And
his wife just passed away too, by the way. Rest in peace.
Yeah, she did.
Yeah.
Yep. A friend of mine is friends with him.
I'll be honest though, the people that were a bigger deal to me were some of the behind the scenes people. Like when I met Ben Burt, the sound designer.
Oh, Ben Burt. Oh,
he was very, very nice to me. I couldn't believe because some people in the industry can be very, very successful, very cocky, and
Yeah,
not give the time of day. And so I was talking to an actor. I didn't know he was an actor at the time. So that kind of a after hours event in the studio, and there was an actor there. He's doing like a ADR dialogues re-recording for one of the movies, and it was like a supporting actor, wasn't a big role. And that's when I kind of realized, oh, you were in them. So we're having a talk. Well, then Ben walks up and he says to the actors like, "Hey, want to join us?" And most of me is like, "You bring your friend too." And then I was like, "Oh, I'm not really with them. He just offered me an empty seat." And Ben's like, "Oh, I don't think we met. I'm Ben Burtt." And I was like, "Oh, I know." Right. And Ben, he said,
"Oh, Ben Burr, who are you?"
Yeah. Ben says to me, he goes, "Oh, I'm sorry. I don't know your name. If we've met before, I don't remember you. I'm really sorry." And it's like, "No, we haven't met before, but you're Ben Burtt." Right.
Yeah.
But he wasn't like, "Yeah, I'm Ben Burtt," and straight away. He was like, "Oh, I'm sorry. I don't remember your name." I was like, wow, that's really humble considering who you are. So for me, it was like meeting some of the people behind the scenes was a bigger deal.
Brother, Star Wars would not be what it is without Ben Burtt.
No. Ben Burtt is key to the success of Star Wars. Absolutely love that guy. I would love to have met him. That's so cool. I've met YouTubers that aren't even in the same universe as Ben Burtt who were more rude, and dickheads basically than what he was to you. Literally,
yes,
I've met some YouTubers that I've tried to talk to, and they just freaking turn their back on me like I was like freaking spoiled cheese or something. And I'm like, who the F are you, dude? Like, I've been on tour with Grammy Award winning artists and have gone to parties with freaking, Tom Cruise, Julia Stiles, all these people, and have hung out with people like that before. You're a nobody and you're freaking giving me a cold shoulder? Like, screw you. Like, who are you? Nobody. I'm a nobody.
You sometimes get that in VFX. Some people like Spaz Williams, the original animator for T-Rex. He's the guy that kind of broke. There's a documentary called Spaz. He was he basically, Spaz Williams is the guy that drove the push from practical to visual effects. He was the rebel that did it. They actually told him, "No, we're doing all this movie practical." He went behind their backs and you ever seen like the animation of the T-Rex walking, the T-Rex skeleton?
Oh, I saw that. That was on the
that was Spaz. And he did that behind their backs to prove, and he left it playing on a screen when Spielberg's crew came to the studio. Like, what is that? Because that's something I'm working on. And they like, "Oh, we're going digital." And so he's the guy, the complete rebel that changed it. Now I'm at Spaz. And
that was in the ILM documentary on Disney+.
Yeah, he has his own now. There is a documentary on Amazon called Spaz, and it's about Spaz's life, when he came up in VFX, how he kind of broke ground, The Abyss, Jurassic Park, these legendary movies that really pushed VFX forward in the digital age. But then also kind of his downfall, right? Spaz he was called Spaz for a reason. Spaz was a spaz. He rubbed some people the wrong way. He did get fired. He did struggle with alcoholism. He's a nice guy. I've met him. We're on LinkedIn. He's an entertaining character. But yeah, like me, Spaz, he was really cool. Some people weren't. Dennis Muren. He was
oh my goodness. Yes.
Dennis, yeah. So interesting because my parents visited the studio one time, and I got them a tour. And so there's an area you can tour your families through. They've got some old props up, like the old so many old movies. Slimer, the big suit from Inner Space. Remember Inner Space, the movie where the guy got shrunk down?
Yes.
So that's like hanging up in one of the hallways.
Back
when they did all practical effects. So you have a bunch of old practical effects in the hallways. And you also have a wall full of pictures of like Emmy Awards that VFX crews have gotten. And if you go down to them, and like every other one is Dennis Muren. And my parents are kind of like, that guy looks really familiar. And then we go through one wing, you come on an elevator, and there's an old big canvas print on the wall of the behind the scenes of E.T. And it's an old picture of a young Dennis Muren positioning E.T. on the hill. And my mom's standing there looking at it, and she's like, "There's that guy again." And the elevator opens, and Dennis walks out, and Dennis like, "Good morning," and walks by. And my mom's just like,
That's
"Who
awesome.
is that guy?" And I was like, "That's Dennis Muren."
That is awesome.
Yeah. So other than Ben Burtt, was there anybody you would say that you ever randomly met that you thought was just super nice and humble and kind, meeting and talking to?
As far as actors, we never really spoke to many actors.
Or actors or behind the scene people like Ben Burtt or any of those people.
So there was one incident that tripped me up. I talked about one of my videos, Coach, when I talk about go to Skywalker Ranch for the Skywalker Sound, we get to do screenings. And there was like this remaster screening of Dark Knight. And I'd seen Dark Knight 20 times. I'm like, I love Christopher. I'm going to go see Dark Knight at Skywalker Ranch because how many times can you see Dark Knight at Skywalker Ranch? Of course.
Yeah.
And so I'm up by the stairwell, leaning against the edge. So there was the little stairwell down to the doors, and they would unlock doors when it was time for the screening. And I'm just sitting there, and I'm just kind of just chilling out. And I hear two guys talking. One's got a British accent, one's got an American accent. They're talking about how these come up, what they're going to do for vacation. One's like, I'm taking my family to an island, and all of a sudden I'm like, fucking island. These aren't VFX artists. They can't afford to do that. Yeah. And I look over. It's Brad Bird and Christopher Nolan talking about what they're going to do with their family vacation.
What?
And Brad Bird kind of looks at me, and I was like, I'm just going to do a staycation. I'm just tired. I got things to do. He goes, there's nothing wrong with that. And they walk off. They just talk, and I'm just like, did that just happen?
Wow.
It's a situation that could snub me. I've been around some people that you've seen them. They kind of like,
put their noses up like their shit don't stink.
Yeah.
People do that, unfortunately. Blazer Hawk Darren with a member chat. Thanks for coming on, Knee. I had an old saying, when life gets you down, always get up, flip the script, and go seek adventure. Thank you, Blazer Hawk Darren. We appreciate that. Larry sends in a $20 super chat. Yo, Nick and friends. I saw Mr. H's video about Rey's movie continuing the Skywalker saga. I bet Kylo impregnated her and the kid is a Skywalker. Only way Rey is one is if the Palps is Anakin's dad. That scene was cut, so it's not canon. Nick, you want to speak on that?
Man, why they are continuing with the Rey movie when nobody liked that character and those sequel trilogy movies were so divisive.
I like Daisy Ridley.
But Daisy Ridley seems to be like the sweetest, nicest person ever.
How dare you? She's a nice lady.
And we have no issues with Daisy Ridley at all. But the way they wrote that character is just like, it just was not good. So it doesn't make sense to me that they're even continuing. And the thing is, a lot of these Lucasfilm projects nowadays that have been announced, we've never seen them. We've gotten no updates, or they've been canceled or shelved. So who knows if this Rey movie will ever actually happen anyways, until we start getting set pics from behind the scenes and actual filming has begun. I'm not completely on board that they're ever going to actually do it.
I think it's perfectly fine to ask Knee Payne, brother, over the last 10 years or so, the amount of canceled projects in Star Wars is mind-boggling.
They have more canceled projects than actual projects that have come out, and that's a fact.
It seems like they just can't find the solution, and after the Acolyte debacle that's going on right now with their 15% user scores, I don't think they're going to get a season 2 of that. And it just makes me believe that a lot of the announced projects over the past year and a half are probably going to get canceled too. Like, it's just crazy where we're at.
Yeah, it's really weird. Like, because I'd hear about projects and I guess I'll wait for the next YouTuber to comment on it, and then I kind of forget about it until when you bring it up. It's like, oh, you're right, you did talk about that. That's why I didn't see a roasting video on it.
Yeah,
exactly. That's right.
We're still waiting on the Lando show and the Droid show,
and Rogue Squadron, Patty Jenkins, and it just goes on and on and on and on.
Oh yeah.
Luke Capadonna with a $5 super chat. Joyful memories watching episode 4 with Dad will always be with me, and I will share that with my children. Star Wars will never die as we share these memories. Loved ones. Absolutely, brother. It's something that, look, my parents are gone, but I watched Star Wars with my parents, and it was a familial event. Every Christmas, guess what I had under my tree? Star Wars.
Same.
They knew It was a family thing, and it was a connection, and it was special.
Yeah.
It was special.
Yeah. I think my costumes were Star Wars. My youngest one, he did the same stormtrooper costume Halloween until he couldn't fit it in anymore.
Yeah.
We had to make it something else.
That's awesome.
But it's the old stormtrooper design.
I want a stormtrooper outfit for myself, but I would look like Barf off Spaceballs rather than
I need to lose about 80 pounds before I try getting a stormtrooper outfit.
Yeah. Man Juicer 69, thank you for sharing. I'm a former WDW lodging line of business leader. These woke bad decisions from above cost jobs, reputations, confidence, quality of life for employees. Thank you for sharing that, Man Juicer 69. We appreciate that very much, sir. Iron with $2. Nerd stuff. Any Warhammer 40K love here? I don't know too much about it.
I don't either.
Yeah, Warhammer 40K though is getting hammered because they are starting to go with the whole woke DEI, all that sort of stuff, and a lot of the fans for a lot of the Warhammer stuff are starting to revolt against them now.
But Henry Cavill. Supposedly,
Henry Cavill is working on it's either a show or a movie that he's working on. He's a huge fan. Yeah. And I'm a lot of that stuff is on the tabletop game side. It's who knows if it's gonna have anything to do with the actual movie or show that Henry Cavill's involved in. But he is a huge fan, and he's really against doing a lot of that stuff and changing from the actual lore that people actually love about it, you know. So he left the Witcher series, because they got away from that. So I don't think he would be on board. And if they went that far with it, he'd probably end up leaving the project. But
I kind of feel like Henry Cavill is like one of our last hopes in the film industry for actors.
Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah. He and the thing is, people were trying to get him to turn against fans when they asked him about the whole Snyder cut and the whole DC stuff, and he was like, the fans are not toxic, they're just passionate. They are passionate fans that love this stuff. Because they don't like it, they're not toxic. They're voicing their opinions and their distaste and dislike for what you're giving them, and they have every right to do that. So Henry Cavill did not buy into that interviewer's bait of trying to go after the fans being toxic. He turned it back on him and was like, look, they're just passionate fans. They love this stuff. Give them what they want. And, it's sort of like what was the Build It and They Will Come.
Field of Dreams.
Field of Dreams. Yeah. Kevin Costner. Yeah. Build it and they will come. The fans will. Disney could have dump trucks. Disney and Lucasfilm could have dump trucks of money getting dumped on their property every day if they just gave the fans what they wanted. And
can you imagine if The Acolyte was the first series that hit Disney Plus?
Oh God! Oh man, Disney Plus would have been
dark
dead.
Thought.
Yeah, Disney Plus would have been dead from the beginning.
Where would we be now?
Yeah.
We wouldn't be here.
I like dark humor, but you dropped on that. I've gone there.
Invasive Coyote with a $20 super chat. Thank you so much, man. How close were we to Disney making a live action of KOTOR 1 and 2 and ruining it for us? Also, is it possible to make a Game of Thrones live action style of KOTOR? Any hope of it? Also, was there any hope Lucas taking back Star Wars?
So I guess that's directed towards me, and I'm not just going to answer any of that. But let's look at the fact. How old is George now?
80? 70.
Yeah. He just turned. It was just his birthday.
Wait, no, he's 80.
Yeah, I think
he's
he
80.
just turned 80.
I'm gonna say if I was in George's shoes, I would just want to enjoy retirement.
Well, he said he's retired.
Yeah.
Yes,
he said, I'm retired.
Yes.
Yep.
I would be too. I'm sure. Listen, again, not George text me, I know anything, but if I was in his shoes, I'm sure I'd probably just look back and be like, what can I do? Right? I signed the contract. That's it. But he's probably spent time with his family and just enjoy that. Because that's probably the one thing you can't control, right? His time with his family. Yeah. And that's what I would do too.
Yeah, May 14th, 1944 was when he just had a birthday. 1944. So yeah, he just turned 80. Yeah, because this is 2024. So if my brain math works right, I believe that's 80, right? Coach, you're the math expert.
Yeah, he'll be 80 this year if he's not already.
Yeah, May 14th, 1944. So he just turned 80.
Yep.
Yeah, that's not the age you buy a studio back and you start pumping out movies. I mean, granted, we see like some people stay with it, but come on.
Now, Dave Filoni did say the right things in his most recent interview, saying that it's really funny. You'll like this, Knee Payne. Dave Filoni spoke about how the property that they're on is still owned by George Lucas. They rent it from him.
Yeah.
And he could walk in right now if he wanted to. It's his. But he said the door's always open. If he wants to come in and be involved, he's here. The door's open. And I appreciate that. If he means that, I appreciate that as a fan.
Yeah. Honestly, if that was my mentor, I'd love to just maybe sit down with him again. I've had some great mentors, and mentors, you move on and you become your own, right? But I think reconnecting, like when I reconnected with my mentors that taught me once in a while, it's a good refresh your mind yourself where you came from.
Yeah.
And to help realign your vision. And it's like, oh, I forgot about that. I forgot the path I was on. So yeah, I can see that.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, the other practical effects guy I was thinking of earlier when we were talking about was John Dykstra.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
He's not been around for a while.
Yeah, he's not been around for a long time.
Phil Tippett wouldn't start his own
I would say Phil Tippett.
Yeah, Phil Tippett too.
Very cool.
Which Tim Rose had a lot of nice things to say about Phil Tippett.
I've never worked with Phil, but I've known people that have worked very closely with him. They've all loved Phil. Yeah. Tim Rose did as well.
So we got a $5 super chat here from Stop Trying to Use My Real Name. Do you think from the test audiences to story decision folks that the decks are stacked to get feedback they want versus the feedback stories need? I have no clue, brother.
Yeah.
I have no idea. The thing is, in Knee Payne, you might have some knowledge of this or have heard stuff about this before, but we know studios will leak information intentionally to get feedback and to see what reactions will be, to make a lot of decisions. Did you ever hear of any of that kind of stuff going on? I mean, I know you weren't really part of the whole marketing side of things, but
no, that would have been not in my wheelhouse at all.
Yeah.
That would have been if I had to guess, that'd probably been a very limited scope of people would have known anything about that.
Yeah.
We have a $5 super chat from Frosty. Batman the Animated Series is probably my favorite. The C-Lab 2021 is my number 2. I'll never forget finding that on Adult Swim back in 2004. I never saw that one, but Batman the Animated Series is iconic forever.
Yeah, loved that Batman animated series. Along with, that's when X-Men, the animated series was out. Which
Spider-Man,
loved Spider-Man. And X-Men '97, which Knee Payne, I don't know if you're a big Marvel fan or not, or really watched that stuff growing up, but we heard a lot of negative stuff surrounding the X-Men '97 show coming from Disney, and we've been getting nothing but a lot of crap from them, in the past several years. So all the negative stuff surrounding that show, we were ready to, review it and be like, this is going to be garbage. Like, let's watch it. We'll review it. And we watched it, and it was actually really good. And we're like, wow, they actually honored the characters, and this is a really good show.
And we were wrong.
We were wrong. We're like,
that's great to hear, actually.
Yeah, all the rumors and stuff surrounding it. We thought it was just going to be woke hot garbage, and all this.
Sometimes
and
we love to be wrong.
Yeah, you know. I mean, me and Coach were talking before the act. Coach was saying, "Dude, what if it's actually good?" And I was like, if it's good, that's great.
Boy, I'm looking stupid now.
Yeah, I've said that. If a series comes out and like all of you across the board, and even like Jeremy and Ryan are actually agreeing that's awesome, I'd be there to check it out. Like I want it. Right? I want to be proven wrong.
Yeah, same.
100%.
You know, I would love to, you know, jump on some of these shows and stuff and be like, wow, well done, excellent show, great job, guys.
Thank you, Frosty, for that $5 super chat. The Guardian of Azarath. Would you be
I'll
willing
right
to appear on one of Doomcock's streams? Is what he's saying.
Oh, so Doomcock, I stream with him on Wednesday nights. He's like an internet personality. Disney hates him. But he is freaking hilarious.
Oh,
and,
he's the best.
And he is a great guy. We stream every Wednesday night. His videos are hilarious. Like if you go back and watch a lot of his like
he
Star
plays a
Trek,
character.
Yeah, he's a character.
I'll check it out. I've never heard of him, but I'll see it.
His YouTube name is Overlord DVD.
Yeah, Overlord DVD.
Oh, I think I have not. I don't follow, but
he has a mask on and talks in a voice. You know, like Dr. Doom.
He's a good friend of ours.
Yeah, he actually narrated our sequel trilogy documentary.
He did.
Okay. You know, a lot of people, you know, don't really like him. You know, but you know. That's their that's their right to.
He's the future ruler of Earth.
Yeah, that's their right to not like him. But we love the guy. He's been nothing but a good friend to us and the channel, and he's a really good guy. And he's great. So yeah, if you go watch a lot of his, like I found him from his Last Jedi rant video. And I was rolling. I was in the car driving back from Florida.
He'll make you cry. He's so funny.
Was he the guy that did the Last Jedi review? It had like the watermelon that was slowly decaying as he just ripped apart the Last Jedi.
It might have been.
Like this time lapse of this watermelon slowly decaying. And he just ripped like the Last Jedi to pieces. I think it was Last Jedi.
He might have. It's been so long since I saw the video, but that's actually how I found him. And but if you type in Doomcock or Overlord DVD, it'll pop up. But yeah, I stream with him on Wednesday nights on the Pop Culture Breakdown. I hung out with a lot of the people that I stream with on that channel in Dallas last weekend, and it's a lot of great guys over there, just like over here on our channel, Echo Base Network. You would definitely be welcomed over there for sure.
Oh yeah,
I love a good laugh. You've had nothing to contribute if you just want some fat guy to laugh in the background.
Like, he's hilarious. He's hilarious.
The funniest.
Yeah. And and everybody over there is great. So definitely check him out.
And he's been good. He's been so good to us since the very beginning.
Yeah.
So
he really has.
The Droid Builders is our newest member. Thank you for joining the EBN family. Various crazy people with a $10 super chat. You'd think force-using multiracial space lesbian witches would change the batteries on their smoke detectors if they build their fort on a mountain of coal. Just saying. Thank you, various crazy people.
Is this
Appreciate
like the second time various crazy? I guess.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one. I cannot wait, ladies and gentlemen, to watch the Acolyte episode 4 tomorrow night. We'll be here. 24 hours from now. Streaming. Just Nova 1138 with $4.99. At Knee Payne, your work and honesty is well appreciated. No matter how gone George's vision is, us geeks and nerds can still keep the best part of Star Wars going. Thank you, bro. Appreciate that very much. Troy Wilson with a $1.99 super chat. Thank you, Troy. We appreciate that. Witch Doctor with a $20 super chat. Knee Payne, since you were still there when Clone Wars got canceled, how was working on Clone Wars at the end? We know there was more seasons planned, at least 2 more full seasons that had started and been worked on.
Okay. How can I talk about this? So in general, the animation process on various productions, when you see a season come out, say like season 6 is coming out, when that's being aired, that was actually done a while ago. They're already working on the season after that. They're starting like the previs, starting the layouts on the animation, and behind that is they're already having writer conferences for the season after that. It's a constant process to keep everything moving. So like when I think I could kind of comment about Jeremy and Ryan having out about like why was like, you know, Clone Wars season 7 really awesome, even though it was under Disney. It's kind of like, well, because they kind of already made it, didn't right? That's it wasn't like they made it. I think where people get disconnected is we don't make a season And then after that season like finally wraps, then we start over from scratch and start storyboarding and scripting the next season. There is a lot of overlap. It's already in the works.
Right.
And that's how it goes. And the producers have a lot of work scheduling because the part of the thing is you want to keep the talent on board. So you have to make sure that your concept artists are always in the concept art phase of a new episode. You want to make sure that your storyboard artists are always in the storyboard phase of an episode. Everyone has to keep cycling in different phases and keep things moving. It keeps everyone employed. It keeps the ship running.
Yeah. Great.
I answered the question about fraud. Yeah.
Oh, that was great. Yep, absolutely. Thank you so much. And Witch Doctor, thank you very much for that very generous $20 super chat, man. Yes. We appreciate that very much. Bob Maluka with a $2 super chat. Lesbian space witches are hot, but these are on fire. Thank you, Bob. You are a mess, man. VS Studios, $5 super chat. God, if they only kept the EU intact and made movies from them, I still want a Cade Skywalker movie. That's something that the Star Wars fandom will never get over, how they basically decanonized the EU and made it legends. A dark day for Star Wars fans, no doubt. Thank you, VS Studios. We appreciate that very much. Ray Pastora with a $2 super chat. Thank you, Ray. We appreciate you. And the great WDW Pro, a great friend of ours. I freaking love this channel and these guys. One of the very best content creators out there and our friend. Thank you, Pro. Appreciate that, brother. Ray Pastora, $5 super chat. I love Andor. Lived many similar events escaping communism. How is that show so good while everything else is so bad? That's a great question, bro. I don't know. Well, we were talking about other entertainment earlier. I don't know I don't know if you have Apple TV Plus or if you've ever watched anything on there. Man, they've got shows on there. Like I'm going through For All Mankind right now. Okay. It is so good. I don't know if you know a thing about it. No, I'm starting season 3. They've just greenlit the 5th season right now, and it's if the Russians had won the space race. Oh, and it's a sci-fi show, great characters, great writing. It is phenomenal. And
it's basically alternate reality. If this had happened instead of that,
it is
the world we could be living. Oh, I love that kind of stuff.
And they use like AI. You can't really tell it's AI or whoever's doing the editing. It's amazing. But like Ronald Reagan is the president, but instead of becoming president in 1980, he became president in 1976. Jimmy Carter was never president. Like it's amazing. And then they got Reagan speaking. And it's like, wow, it looks real, but it's not. Like it's so good.
How do you think something like that would go over in the Star Wars universe? Imagine if you did a spin-off where it was like the alternate reality. What if Luke didn't blow up the Death Star? He got killed.
I think people would enjoy that. And if they gave it to us in the animated form, it would be even better.
Yeah, I think that would be really interesting.
Yep. And speaking to the EU, there's some EU stories that are so great. If they would create an animated version of, like you were talking about Shadows of the Empire earlier. Can you imagine a Shadows of the Empire animated movie?
That'd be awesome.
They could do it. Yeah, and I'd be there on day one. I would buy multiple tickets to go watch that.
Yeah.
I
know there's a lot of great stuff that we know was good.
Exactly.
For the story and give it to us.
That's right, brother. Ray Pastora, thank you so much for that. We're almost done here with all the super chats. Fill in the blank, $4.99. I hope Knee Payne can be a regular live stream guest. He fits right in with this community. Thanks. Thank you, Phil. Appreciate that, Phil. And then last but not least, Vader Mike 134 saw Return of the Jedi 97 Special Edition. As a kid with my dad, he only liked Rogue One from the new films. He passed away summer 27. Will always have those memories. That's so awesome, brother. It's the same for me. I'll never forget my mother coming over here, and I showed her on my television. She didn't go see The Force Awakens in the theater. I showed her Luke Skywalker's appearance at the very end of the movie, and as I stood there in my living room with my mother watching Luke, we both cried. Because, and I can't explain it. I didn't know what was coming. I probably wouldn't have cried if I had known what was coming with The Last Jedi. But when me and my sweet mother, who's no longer here with me, when we watched that moment, it was an important moment, and I'll always have it. So Star Wars is more than just entertainment for a lot of us. It's such a big part of our lives.
Yeah.
Welcome back to your channel, Nick.
Yeah, sorry guys. I've been working this whole entire time. I'm on the clock.
Listen, we have gone 3 hours. We still have over 2,000 people here in the house watching. This has been an incredible show. Lots of great information. Thank you all for all of the super chats. We just cleared them all. But the major thing is this. Knee Payne came here tonight and shared it all.
Cleared the air. He didn't get attacked or his house threatened to be blown up by Lucasfilm if he didn't take the videos down or anything like that.
No, this is awesome. This has been such a treat, my friend. We want to say thank you, seriously, for coming here and doing this, and we hope that you will come back and join us again. We really do.
Thank you.
And we don't have to talk about your career and all that. We could talk, you could just be a regular person here just talking, Yeah,
just talking about what's going on with, current, like every Tuesday night we do Acolyte review, Thursday night regular live stream. We just kind of hit on news topics and stuff. But House of the Dragon just started back up. So we're hitting on a lot of that as well.
So many people in chat right now are saying thank you to you.
Thank you for
being here.
I didn't. I think early on I was like, "Who's going to listen to me talk?" I mean, I was a cog in the machine. I think there's so many more people did more interesting things than me, right? But it's just like, but then I touched something that means a lot to people. I guess they want to make that connection, even if I was a janitor. Right, I kind of told someone that once. I had a fan come up to me and like, "Oh, this is the crew jacket. Like, what do you do?" And I'm kind of bad mood and tired. And it's like, I'm just a janitor, right? And he's like, "Really cool. Do you get to clean this?" I was like, he didn't care as a janitor. He thought I was cool, a janitor there. I'm like, oh, that really means a lot to you.
Hey, that's what Finn was in the sequel trilogy. He was a janitor, right?
Yeah.
So that line from Harrison Ford though in that Force Awakens, that's not how the Force works.
That was a great line.
That was probably the best line in the whole entire movie, honestly.
Yep. We have one more super chat that just came in. O Morales 81 $4.99 wrote a fanfic comic in 2020, showed Star Destroyers crushing Topoka City. 1 year later, that exact scene was in the Bad Batch. Does Lucasfilm Limited borrow from the fans?
Wow. Obviously, I did not work on Bad Batch, so I can't answer that. I will say, when you're in these studios, they talk about being very careful about when you deal with fans, right? People try to pass you off scripts because if they say that you jump off a script to your house and they see anything that pops in the movie that reflects that script, that could open the door for lawsuits. So like they say, whenever you get contacted, contact us immediately, right? And we would get people, they would get our phone numbers, like our extensions. It's really weird. They know who you are. Like I get my phone ringing at the desk. I'm like, who's that? Like no one calls me. They email me. We had an internal message system. So I pick it up. I was like, hello? Like my mechanic asking when I bring my car in? Because he had my number. Yeah. And the guy who knew me by name, and he was like, yeah, I'm a drone pilot. And I just wondered, like, if they have any shoots come, do you need a drone? I was like, whoa, okay, bye, click, right? So you're supposed to be very careful about that stuff because people, I think it's like, you hear about country that people step out in front of cars, try to get sued. There are people that try to do that, put their IP in the right person's hands so they can try to sue for ideas. Not that I think everyone is up to no good, but you have to be careful about that. Then you have similar ideas. So yeah, I mean, I don't know about this individual, right? I can't speak for that. But sure. I do know, like, in all these studios that have that generate IP, if you do IP work, you got to be very careful about where you get your influences from.
Yeah,
no doubt, no doubt about it.
Yeah, a lot of people that we know that's in the industry, they'll have people that will send them, scripts or story ideas and stuff, and they're like, "Sorry, I can't open this and I can't read it," because
they send you that.
Even if I accidentally use something and I never even read yours, just because you sent it to me and I read it, that could open me up for a lawsuit.
But we know that they watch us.
Yeah.
We know that they watch some YouTubers because it's in the documentary. Jon Favreau sends a video to Mark Hamill and says, "You got to watch this."
Mm-hmm.
And Mark Hamill tweets out 2 videos about Luke Skywalker's return in The Mandalorian Chapter 16. And one of those videos was our video.
Yep.
And so we know that these people are watching. We know. And this is from me, nobody else. This is from me. Get Star Wars back on track for the fandom.
Yeah.
Get us united behind good Star Wars. Get that done.
Yeah,
so,
I definitely know there were bloggers. So you asked about YouTubers earlier. There were YouTubers that they talk about studio. Like I don't remember. I do remember them talking about certain bloggers. I don't remember the name. Like where they got information from. There was definitely cases where people would run around outside the studio and try to take pictures through the glass. So you did always have that kind of those things going on. They even said be careful because there was a Starbucks near ILM, and then crews would go out there, but they need to learn to stop talking about work when you went into the Starbucks, right? Because you were not, you're standing around. And they said there's reporters sitting around listening. And you got to be careful. And it's like ongoing. I remember every now and then there would be like a case of a story leak.
Mm-hmm.
And they bring it up like, oh, this leak happened. I'm just thinking I had a lot to drink last weekend. Was that me? they would talk about what the leak was. I was like, oh, I did actually know about that. You can't blame me.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
And so honestly, I kind of prefer sometimes to stay in the dark, right? You can't blame all the leaks on me if I don't know everything.
There you go.
Yeah.
Akuri, thank you so much for that $1.99 super chat. We appreciate that. And then our friend Gary Ambrosia with a $5 super chat. Hell EBN.
Yeah.
Well,
real quick, Gary Ambrosia, he's actually good friends with some people that worked on set on the Mandalorian series, and he actually had a crazy story about George Lucas. One of his friends that worked on the Ewok movies back in the day, the live action ones, worked on Howard the Duck, and they were in a production meeting. And Gary, forgive me if I'm not getting this exactly right, but I believe this is how it went. He basically George was talking about the Howard the Duck animatronic head and stuff, and they were talking about that, and his buddy made a suggestion or something, and just because he made a suggestion, that George, I guess, got offended by it, and they went after him and was like, you don't ever say anything to George Lucas, and basically fired him from the Howard the Duck movie project just because he made a production or made a suggestion or some comments about whatever it was they were in this meeting talking about. And so a lot of people he knows personally that have had direct dealings with George Lucas, some of them, they have not been very good interactions.
Well, look, I'll say this. Shout out to Ewok's actor who played Jace.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Mace.
Mace, yeah.
Which was Eric Roberts, who has been on our channel, and we appreciate him very much.
Yeah, Yep,
absolutely. Knee Payne, do not leave the stream. We are going to end the show, but Nick and I would like to just say thank you and talk to you privately after the stream goes off.
No problem. I'll just look at my channel because it's like I gained 1,000 subscribers with no videos on my channel.
Let's go.
Yeah. So I did put a link out there in chat and said, hey, everybody go subscribe to Knee Payne. Now that he's kind of clearing the air on a lot of this stuff. Our good friend Rob Wright, who's with us on Gamecock's Wednesday night pop culture breakdown, another good guy. But yeah, I posted a link to your channel and was like, now that it's cleared the air, maybe some of the videos that a lot of our folks, found enjoyable on the camera reviews and the AI artwork stuff and a lot of the stuff that had nothing to do with Star Wars and Lucasfilm, maybe those will pop back up and they'll be able to watch some of those. Do you want to tell the folks what's your plan moving forward with your channel now?
Yeah,
are those videos coming back? You gonna keep making content, or you man, this is too much for me. I'm stepping back.
I'll bring back everything else. I mean, I actually brought back the Mike Zero video because I was before the stream started. I was in the chat. And people were just like, some people I think were still doubting if it was really me. I was like, listen, I'll bring back the Mike Zero video because I don't think that's violating anything.
Not at all.
Like a real-time refresh. Look, it came
probably
back, so
just his feelings. That's all.
Right.
Yeah. What an odd duck. Yeah, I'll bring stuff back because I really just enjoy. Like, so when I left, it's like I will always enjoy. I have a bunch of cameras, and obviously you see my videos. I love my cameras. I like to record. I like to just share what I know, even if it's only a little bit or I know it half-assed. And I like to edit. I like to upload. Here's the thing: YouTube as a company, I detest. I think their moderation is awful. I had a channel I abandoned. All I did was nature relaxation videos, like 8 hours of like waterfall stuff I did to kind of relax myself. I have been striked and hit with community guidelines for hate content so many times I stopped uploading because I was like, I'm tired of uploading 8-hour videos of nature for your effed up machine learning algorithm to flag me for hate content, and then I have to argue with your mods to get the strike lifted.
Oh, it's so irritating.
Yeah. And yet I see people out there like walking around public beaches, recording young ladies in their thong bikinis and posting it and getting verified and monetizing. I was like, wait, how's that okay? But I post a waterfall and you literally hit me 24 hours later with the strike. This is BS. And even on my Knee Payne channel, I got hit one time with a hate content strike, which they quietly lifted for a bird photography video. Now, when that dumb crap isn't happening, I like just recording things that I do and upload. Yeah, I want to go back to my cameras. I just like maybe talk about things I know. Maybe just be more careful about my work experience. But maybe share what I think about current shows that are coming out. I have the right to do that. Say I don't like this. And this is why. Right.
Yeah.
And
because you're not there anymore. So anything current, you should be free to give your opinion on. I mean,
as a fan.
As a fan.
As a fan.
So I'll bring stuff back. I will. Thanks for hearing me out. Respond to the email. I didn't know if I was firing email off into the dark net that I responded. When you start responding,
all that worked out just as the Force willed it. It was perfect.
Yeah. No, it's not the Force, Coach. It's the thread. Just as the thread wielded it.
Up.
Yeah.
Shut up.
And then when you sent me the phone number, I was like, these guys are pretty serious. They actually do want to talk. And I'll be up for it. I wasn't expecting anything of this. I'm happy with what I do. If I just stay below 3,000 subscribers, I was below 1,000 forever and just having fun. And I just do this for fun. So, but thank you for having me on talking. I really consider myself special at all. I still don't. I'm kind of like just awestruck. You actually had me as a special guest. And even my partner, I was like, I'm a special guest on an interview tonight online. She's like, what? I was like, oh.
I've been telling my wife all about it. She's like, really? Like this has just been unbelievable to her. I'm like, this is just crazy how all this has happened.
And the thing is, a lot of ex-Lucasfilm employees, like me and Coach, have had several interactions with current Lucasfilm employees who are like our channel, like us, are on board coming on and talking to us.
True.
And then after they go to try to get permission, we never hear from them again.
No,
we never hear from them
That's
again.
True. That's 100% true.
Permission. No.
Yeah.
Yep. They don't want them coming here.
Yeah. So we're like blacklisted by Lucasfilm and Disney.
There's definitely evidence to suggest that.
Yeah. Of course, we're not in the offices, so we don't know that for sure. But all the people that we've talked to that have been all for coming on here, it's not ever happened.
And we still have 1,900 people here.
Yeah.
And we've been live, gentlemen, for 3 hours and 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Like this is
insane.
This has been wild. So that Park Place with the $2 super chat, I agree. Gary Ambrosia is awesome.
He is awesome.
Guys, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, everyone.
Go and subscribe to Knee Payne as he brings he brings certain videos back and creates more. He is one of us. He's got a great deal of expertise that the majority, 99% of us, does not have. He worked at Lucasfilm, and he knows a lot about production and what it takes. We just dream about it. It's amazing. So it's a voice that demands
what's
attention.
interesting about it is like I think someone on Geeks and Gamers, like I see kind of like he was a 3D animator. I was like, I was never an animator. So it's kind of funny when they see you work at the company, they think you were an animator or a concept artist. So like there's a wide gamut of people. And I will say this is what I loved about entertainment. And everyone, you probably never consider this. The sheer amount of people I knew that were software engineers, but they had degrees in fine art, and people that had degrees in fine art. One of the best engineers I know, he's worked for Rivian and Tesla since then. He has a degree in fine art, but he became a software engineer. And then people I knew that were engineers that became fine artists and like animators. So it's like people just found their calling and what they were good at. And so I think it throws people for a loop when they think about that. I think we're all one. I was like, no, I think we were all employees way before all this. I think everyone who entered that industry as a whole was very diverse.
Yeah.
Very different backgrounds.
Very cool.
Yeah, there was a video that I was going to get you to react to tonight, which we don't have time to do. But one of our detractors.
You got to do it, Nick. Please do it. Please do it. It'll just take a second.
Okay, I'm on board.
It'll just take a second. She's worth it, man. She's worth it.
So this is one of our detractors, and
she hates our guts.
She hates our guts. She
for
hates,
no reason.
She hates the Geeks and Gamers crew.
She hates us all.
Nerdrotic, all of them. But she was talking she did a video today talking about how you haven't been at Lucasfilm for 12 years. And that Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers had you on his channel and all this stuff.
That's not true.
And I'm like, he left at the beginning of 2018.
Spoiler alert, she looks like this. Hello. It's me. All right, I'm done there.
But she actually calls us out at the end of the video. But she goes on and on about how basically you don't know anything in this sort of stuff, and she's basically trashing. Because all this came out today.
She's attacking me and Nick.
Yeah,
that's what she's doing.
Yeah, and she attacks us at the end. But let me let's see here.
Cover your eyes, everybody.
Yeah.
She's so mean.
No Wookiees, no.
Can you hear it?
No bounty hunters.
Okay.
No Raylos. No Ray Nobodies. No.
Yeah, don't make us watch more than we have to. Like, please.
Kennedy era. And you're using him as
here we go.
On there because I think he's probably a dirtbag. Just a grain of salt. I mean, shit. Okay. Absolute. He doesn't know what's going on. So the guy hasn't worked at Lucasfilm in 11 years, 12 years. So the idea he knows anything that's going on at Lucasfilm.
Well, not right now. I do.
Yeah.
Is absolute fucking bullshit. Okay. Absolute. He doesn't know what's going on. So when you go onto the big channels and you see that they've got this dirtbag on there, because I think he's probably a dirtbag.
She calls you a dirtbag, Knee Payne.
Just a grain of salt. I mean, obviously when you have a former employee attacking one of the guys who is running Lucasfilm.
Is she an ex-smoker?
And this former employee
I don't know.
We're asking the same question.
Not at all during the Kennedy era. And you're using him as some sort of like whatever.
I'm like whatever.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, you're right.
It's like she's listening to us right
now.
now.
I know. It's like, how many voices in her head she's trying to argue with right now?
If that guy approached me and wanted me to have him on my channel, I would say, yeah, if you want to talk about Lucasfilm when you worked there. Because I know what's going on right now at
no, you don't.
No, she doesn't.
Nobody does.
So she thinks she has inside knowledge.
Is this Mike Zero's mom?
It might be. It might be. It might be.
Like he's downstairs right now recording his other videos.
Yeah, he's in the basement of her house. But yeah, she thinks she knows all. Like I've literally seen this woman cuss people out in her channel for not agreeing with her and block them. Like she was she was here on our channel. We've had her on before. We were very nice and kind to her. Book of Boba Fett came out and we didn't agree with her. And she basically told everybody, unsubscribe from Echo Base Network. Those two rednecks from Alabama don't
We
know
were
what they're
friends
talking
with
about.
her until we had an opinion contrary to hers.
Yeah. And then she went after us.
And and then we've been the two dumbasses from Alabama ever since.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Continue.
Anyways, hey, look, I don't think there's any reason to continue, is there? Like, let's just.
Oh, no. The good part's coming up right here.
That these guys would grab this guy, but of course, look, you're looking for subscribers. You're looking for eyes on the videos. 34,000 views. Well, for a live stream, that's not a lot. Okay,
What is she talking about?
For channels, besides I'm talking about, there really aren't a lot of
So she's talking about Knee Payne being on a Geeks and Gamers live stream that only got 34,000 views. He's never been on a Geeks and Gamers live stream. So she doesn't know what she's talking about. She doesn't know. She thinks he's been gone from Lucasfilm for 12 years. She thinks he's a dirtbag.
Yeah. Let me do this real quick. Can I do this real fast?
Huh.
This is just Stephanie, dear. This is for you, from coach to you. You need professional help. I can't help you. I'm not qualified or certified, but I will pray for you. You need professional help. Please stop. Please go see somebody. Everything's going to be okay. Everything. Okay, I'm done now.
And tell Mike Zero to come up and do dishes.
They're really
yeah.
That's great. That's great.
Yeah, I know. There's a look. When you've got Phantom Wire attacking.
We're still watching this? What are we watching this for? What?
Okay. This is what they call panic. Okay, this is what they call, or it was $300 million.
I think you could stop it now, bro.
That's not.
All we're missing is the part where she says the two dumbasses from Alabama, right? Yeah. So she says that. Yeah. It's okay.
Here's what's happening right here.
All right.
I would be because Geeks and Gamers will want to burn that down for money. They don't exist for the culture war. They exist to feather their bank accounts. That's all. That's all. Weird way to make a living. Anyway, gotta go. See you guys around the galaxy. Be safe. Maybe we'll get a Sparrow update. I don't know. Soon. Talk at you later.
Yeah.
Sparrow.
So I missed it. So, yeah, at the end there at some point. But yeah, if you want to go watch that in its entirety, Knee Payne, Stephanie Janisek, Smuggler's Cantina.
I'd rather watch The Last Jedi on a bad day.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll put a link.
It's at 26 minutes and 50 seconds. The two dumbasses from Alabama.
You want me to put it on that?
Look, Knee
26:52.
26:50 is what Matt Cave says.
Yeah. All right. Here it is.
Oh boy.
It's pretty funny. Yeah. She says, "What about the others?"
Yeah. I mean, well, what about the others? You got those two dumbasses from Alabama.
There it is.
We're talking to a guy that used to work at Lucasfilm in till 2012. That was over 12 years ago. But he'll know exactly what's going on right now. Really?
We never said he knew
exactly. For content.
Oh my gosh! All right.
Yeah.
Look. Go sell crazy someplace else. We're all out of stock here.
Yeah. I'll put the link to the video in for the full video in private chat, Knee Payne, if you want to listen to the whole thing and comment on it and tell her that it wasn't 2012 when you left there.
Look, we're going to go ahead and wind it down, but I do have two super chats real quick. Various crazy people, $10 super chat. She looks like a transgender Palpatine who has decided to never use the Force because it's a tool of the patriarchy. I agree. Thank you so much. And CO's, man, brother, I can't even do it. But you know who you are. $5 super chat. Though I'm a mental health professional, I don't know what diagnosis I give for rating the Acolyte 0.5 out of 5, and yet feel obliged to watch the train wreck. That's what we do. We watch those train wrecks.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, it's like it's so bad. You know, we're literally watching the plane crash. You know, and it's hard to turn away.
Yep. Guys, we're going to go ahead and wrap it up there. Knee Payne, don't leave. We'll talk to you privately in just a moment. Thank you, Knee Payne, for being here and doing this. The audience loved you. The community loved you. That was awesome. Everybody, please thank him for coming tonight. Nick, great job running the show tonight and getting this thing set up. Thank you, community, for being here. Nick and I will be back tomorrow night for Acolyte episode 4.
Yeah, it's coming tomorrow.
Can't wait.
Tomorrow.
Yeah, the destruction of Star Wars is nigh. Anyways, Knee Payne, thank you so much. We'll be seeing you around soon. You are Echo Base Network. May the Force be with you. Knee Payne, don't leave. We'll be right back.
Yep.
And we'll see you guys on the next one. Later, guys.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Bye, everyone.
Coach and Nick from Echo Base Network, thank you so much for being here with us tonight at Echo Base TV, where community happens.